Let's do a cheers to the Sobeys and Safe with Liquid Beer for the podcast.
We ride again.
I love you guys.
Careful, that cake's hot.
It's not working.
It's the 6 o'clock to check in. Come on, let's go.
Oh, why did I hit the console?
It's the AM Nasty Big Hello. It's that static AM radio. It's the Cool Bed Red Hot Nielson Show. Let's go. Everybody tuning in, even my wife.
Mommy likes too.
And those Macromala intros are cutting like a knife. Hey, it's Mitch texting in, he's your dealer for life. Let's crack at 6 o'clock and log you with some sirloin bites.
I got you.
I pressed it.
Good morning, everyone. 6:05. We'll get this going. But the board was reinstalled yesterday, and we're still just going to get the presets and everything later. Look, fiddle around with it, man. That's the hour. Just keep mashing stuff. I'll indulge you here if need be, and we'll get it going. It's a Friday. How the heck are you? Happy Canada Day long weekend as well, Friday. As keep going.
I guess I should have tested.
You'll eventually get it. Well, we'll eventually get it going. You just keep riding them up, press buttons. I mean,
nothing there.
Hop
That's
on
good.
in.
That's
Yeah,
good.
no.
Yeah,
Try
is
getting
fun.
put those faders. Yeah.
This what,
No,
they're all the way up?
no. Get the other two up.
Oh,
Just
yeah,
juice them all. Put them all
Juice
up
them
there. Yeah.
Okay,
Just.
well, they're all juiced now. This one is there we go. But I don't know if that's
Trevor looks on in fear behind the monitors.
no worries.
Hey, well, just again fiddle around and do your thing. It's
Okay.
We'll make it. Spare no expense. Lieutenant Eric, Joaquin Gage in with you this morning. YouTube Trev behind the monitors is The Nielson Show. EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Streaming online, iHeart, TuneIn radio apps, and as well on YouTube. We are presented by South Fort Chevrolet. Want to let you know, 15% off accessories for your new ride right now, courtesy South Fort Chev, www.southfortchev.com. It is the place to be. You can check them out, 10109 89th Avenue, Fort Saskatchewan. Go see Daniel and his team out there. A fun, interactive dealership if you want to get into a Chev or get some accessories at a 15% chop. The Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen Studio, as always. We're coming to you live from, try the Ghost Pepper Wings today. Bone in, bone out. It doesn't matter. You're calling the shots. You choose. I would suggest the bone out, but you can make it a reality down at Popeyes. Lots to get to today. Of course, the Elks playing last night, week 4 in the CFL kicking off. Oilers offseason ramping up as much as Jeff Jackson doesn't maybe want it to. We're still kind of all in the I can't believe they lost Game 7 mode, and boom, the awards go off, boom, the draft's coming up, and boom, free agency is right around the bend. So sports, as you know, specifically hockey, doesn't sleep, and we'll be taking you through that, leading into, of course, free agency weekend, drumming up a little, maybe something special as well for all you nasties and ESTers on Monday, free agency day, Canada Day. So stay tuned for that. Lots going on in the baseball world as well to get to, and it is race weekend as well. The Austrian Grand Prix from the Red Bull Ring.
The Red Bull Ring.
We will have Tim Hauraney joining Joaquin specifically, and me. I'll be along too, but Joaquin and Tim will get you set for Austria at around 7:45. Mike Johnson, who's always on the beat, I would assume down Vegas way, will have his thoughts and reactions at 7:05, setting up the draft, the awards. How about Nikita Kucherov? Hey, man, that's entertainment. That guy is worth the price of admission, I tell you that much, for his reactions last night. But yes, lots of stuff to get to specifically, and I'll probably touch on the Elks, a little CFL heavy as well to start the show. That was the game last night that transpired. We got you set. We also took it down with Maddie and Milne, the green and gold kickoff and post-game shows, and the Elks coming up short again. Nothing short of entertaining to watch, nothing short of talent on the team. I do kind of feel like, and 4 weeks through, heading into a bye, maybe the messaging isn't maybe coming through so much so in the locker room and from coaching to the players as we saw. Again, penalties, undisciplined play, rear its ugly head last night.
Well, I want to ask you, Eric, is this a case where, I guess you kind of answered my question already, but is this a coaching thing? Is this they seem so close, right?
Yeah.
They're like 3 points.
Yeah.
Right? I think the total of, now 17
And all
points.
undefeated teams. BC,
Yeah.
the best of the bunch, not
Yeah.
undefeated, but
But, you look at other types of sports, it's just that little bit extra, that finishing, you look at if you want to draw comparables to the Oilers season, when they were struggling, they seemed like they just couldn't, that little bit extra. But once that switch flips, then it's that ball can really get rolling.
and you're right. It's the Oilers of the present when they are struggling. People are like, oh, they suck.
Yeah.
This isn't the Oilers of the times when they actually did suck.
Yeah.
Like, and there's no talent to be seen. This team's got talent. They're fun to watch. They're putting up points. It's just in those moments. So maybe the messaging, and much to the chagrin, I'm sure, of Matt Iwanek, where when you have an opinion, you stick to it for life. My opinion on Chris Jones has changed over time, and I think even for the most ardent Jones defenders, perhaps that's happening as well. But you can have your say. I know Box Pounder's in the nasty chat on YouTube as well. The Paris Jewelers inbox today, 780-218-9999. It's going to be bumping today, as I mentioned, all the things going on there. So have your say. Get your text in, 780-218-9999. It's the bling box. It's the inbox. It's the Paris Jewelers ring box.
It's the ring box. It's the bling box. It's the Paris Jewelers inbox. And they got lots of fancy shiny things.
Look at this, look at that.
And not just for the ladies. They got jewelry for men too. The ring box, the bling box, the Paris Jewelers inbox.
Took a stroll by PJ's yesterday down at WEM West Edmonton Mall. They are family-owned, 22 stores, 4 provinces across the nation. Large, high-quality selection, engagement rings, including lab-created, great prices, www.parisjewelers.com. So get into the inbox today with your texts, whether it is on the Elks and Chris Jones. I know Box Pounder's alive and illuminated in the nasty chat. Chris Jones proved he doesn't know the rules when he took a delay penalty under 3 minutes and lost the down. Sheer idiocy. Get those messages in text form. Paris Jewelers inbox there, Box Pounder. And maybe your perfect Chris Jones roast might win you text of the day this morning. And text of the day is for our good friends down at A&W. You can check them out as well. Get a little Friday meat in that belly. Mama Burgers. 2 Mama Burgers for only $9.99 right now at A&W. And for text of the day today, the best text will be chosen. And you will get $20 to A&W. We could probably get around, my quick math is correct, $9.99. And you throw in a couple of cents there. 4 Mama Burgers, really, for the text of the day today. If you can do it, 780-218-9999.
I have a question of our A&W listeners. I saw going by there just for a coffee. Great latte at A&W.
The brew bar. Oh, yeah.
It's
Don't sleep
fantastic.
on that.
But the dog patties, because they had the signs in the window, and I started reading all the different deals, but they actually had a dog patty. I was like, my dog wasn't with me. I go, oh my gosh, he'll probably love that. If anyone's tried the A&W dog patty for their dog, or maybe it's just to that location. Maybe it's just there.
Could be the franchisee. I do like it though. You got the mom of the pup, the teen. Now you can have the dog burger.
Dog,
you
can feed the whole family.
Have all the fish. You can just keep going with this puppy. I like that. A conch for the dog burgers down at A&W.
Fake conch?
Yeah. Sure, blow one of those if you want to. I mean, and I'll give you a didgeridoo right now for your little lunch escapade yesterday as well. If you'd like to share a little bit about that.
the whole thing of it, trying to get this passport for my daughter because she's leaving to go to Los Angeles for dance in the next couple of weeks, and it's been complete hell.
A conch for her.
But the people at the passport office have been great. I'm picking it up today at 11. But yesterday, I thought I was going to pick it up, and I was after the show here, after two guys, and I was a little bit famished. Driving down, and I actually Googled best smash burger in Edmonton, and it popped up right close to me on my way home. Sea Change Brewing.
Sea Change, yes.
Yeah,
and we've had them on a beer of the week in the past.
Shitties.
Just say it.
Shitties.
Yeah. It's with a D.
It's and had the single flat, fantastic burger. Was asking question, dog friendly patio. I'll definitely be going there in the summer. But nothing like a really good smash burger. The fresh onion, tomato, lettuce. I know I'm creeping out dusty right now, but you have to have all those extra little things with a smash. Might even go back there today and try a double. But all the beers on tap. We've had Sea Change on Fridays before for beer of the week. Great selection, good ambiance. It's like I said before, it looks old but new.
Yeah,
very clean. I gave it a 2 thumbs up for sure.
2 Gage thumbs up, and that's in the culinary world. That goes a long way, I would say. You're not just going out there and giving thumbs every which way.
I'm Egon from Ratatouille, if you know. So it's it was perfect. It brought me back. Just a little tear in that first bite of that burger. I crushed it too. I ate it so fast. I was worried other people go, oh my God, look at this guy. He's just sitting there alone, and you
work up an appetite and hang out there if I want it. 2 hours if I want it gets you. Yeah.
But definitely, I'll be frequenting that patio at least a couple times. Maybe on the way to a Riverhawks game.
That's not a bad double stack.
Yeah, and then a nice little maybe even walk down the hill there and stuff, or a lime ride. That'd be great.
There was lots going on last night. I mean, when you got home from having your burger and beer escapade, you had a lot of options. Tube Socks checks in. He was watching Dusty and Glenn from the road. Of course, Dustin Nielson had the call with the Elks loss down in BC last night alongside Glenn Suter. Tube Socks watching from the road in a hotel, brought his own charcuterie for the room. He also says, how about a conch to whoever the hell was doing the comedy? And he uses quotes on the NHL Awards last night. I'll give you a conch on that one, Tube Socks. With everything going on last night, how much of the NHL Awards did you digest? I mean, we all kind of know what was going where and who was getting what. You did need to have the show, though, and boy, did they not disappoint, hey?
Oh, I'd watched 0 of it, actually.
Yeah.
I wanted to see how the sphere looked and stuff or whatever, but whatever.
Fair.
It was kind of, you knew who was going to win. I looked to see who won. I was interested to see. And it was the people that I think we all thought were going to win those awards. It looks like a good night. Everyone's going to have a good time.
Yeah,
now,
nothing viral coming out of it too much. I mean, the Kucherov response, I mean, we kind of know that's how he acts. But
that's kind of great. But he made it a little bit lighter. But, yeah, just one viral moment. I always miss, I forget the guy's name, that didn't have his shoes, the Czech guy from Calgary.
Yuri Hudler.
Yuri Hudler. I mean, and his speech. You need more stuff like that, I think, at these things. They're a little stuffy.
Yeah. Oh, well, and again, I just think that specifically given this market, and I mean, even our guest, Mike Johnson, the last time we spoke with him, things were still ready and live to go, and now we're talking about awards and a draft, and we'll get also, if you caught Jeff Jackson's availability yesterday, you can have your say definitely on that, 780-218-9999, or in the nasty chat as well. But I don't know how much you're pulling away from that either. Just seems to me like, again, they kind of expected there to be a parade, and now it's like they got to get to work. Boy, oh boy, there's work to be done. We got to find a GM. We got to do all this stuff. It's not like they're rushing or I'm sure they have plans in place, but it seemed to me like, I mean, mutually parting ways with Ken Holland. I think we all knew that you just had to sign off. It happened. But now, I think what I'm pulling out of it yesterday is him saying, I'm not going to be the GM. I think a lot of people kind of thought maybe your mind's going to certain places. Oh, he's here. He's just going to do that. He's now searching for an actual GM, and teams have been working, as he said, for the past 2 months. They're already ahead of themselves. So I don't know what you're pulling away too much from 2J there. Again, hearing a nice press conference outside of Ken Holland talking about, Detroit and the guide and record book. And again, in parting, I like Ken Holland. I really enjoy the guy. He's a character, right? I think
he's great.
I could listen to him talk for hours,
Yeah.
but I think from a fan's point of view, sometimes it does get a little frustrating, I guess.
Frustrating, like the American presidential debate.
Hey, well,
Whoa.
yes, yeah, that was something else.
that was
Weigh in on
something
that,
else,
if you
too.
will. Yeah, I just they'll get their stuff done. Obviously, I don't know. What do you make of it? And this goes back to the players avail. I mean, Draisaitl not firmly putting something down in ink. I mean. Just let the thing breathe a bit. Everything will be fine. UFAs will get signed. They'll find guys that they need to. If the guys that they want don't sign here, they'll find some others. Like, they're right there.
I know this isn't a popular take, but I mean, you put yourself in Leon's shoes. He hasn't got to be able to become an unrestricted free agent yet, right? It'd be irresponsible of him not
business
to see.
wise.
Yeah, this is a business move, and I mean, if you're doing for the pros and cons list, if we could see Leon's pros and cons list, I'm sure a lot of those boxes would check on the Edmonton Oilers side, right?
Yeah.
But you got to weigh your options, I think, at least at this point. But the big thing is, they're still in the right window, and there's something about if one of the questions I think he has to ask himself if he does go somewhere else. And it's happened before where a big player leaves and the next year that team goes on to win it. Like how would you feel if you left the team that won it the next year?
You don't want to get off this train right now, too. As you mentioned, this isn't something that's kind of getting torn apart at the edges or whatever it is.
Yeah.
This is a retool, revamp, back in it.
Yeah, this is
why leave now?
You'll see probably whoever is the GM lean more towards the side of the Vegas Golden Knights is like we're not looking to the future right now. We're looking for the right now and being very aggressive with prospects picks to get guys that can play in the league and make a difference right away.
Well, I think that's the thing. You said very aggressive, and I think Ken Holland, what is many of the quotes that people hang on is you can't go all in every year, and I think a lot of people want to see him go in 1 year.
That's his mindset, though, right?
Yeah.
That's he doesn't. He likes to not empty the clip, It's essentially he likes to keep a few back in the chamber for later. So,
but
and that's
yeah.
I mean, that's how he has been a successful GM.
It's a good practice in like peacetime, maybe. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like now, like there's certain. I get the frustration of not. And again, you can define going full. Maybe you can. I know this will irk people, but maybe this deadline he could define as going in. Like, I mean, with what he gave up, the return maybe isn't there as to what you expected as a fan.
Well,
but
they don't have a first-round pick, right?
Exactly.
Adam Henrique is gone. It seems like, depending on what his, how many, as Speck put it, how many people are phoning his agent, and if something works out that way, and maybe he does circle around back to Edmonton because him.
Well, that's interesting with his age. Like,
I know. What are you looking at?
Would you want to leave the party now at that? Like, I get Fogle in a sense, and you're a
little younger.
Yeah, price
had
yourself
a really
out or whatever.
Really good year.
Yeah.
This is where you can really make hay with life changing money. But Adam Henrique, I looked, $50 million in career earnings. Been to the dance twice. Bridesmaid twice.
Like, that's got to weigh on you a bit in your decision making.
And I think I don't know. I find Edmonton if I'm a aging NHL player that's, a bona fide, maybe moonlights top six, but can definitely be a regular in 82 games, I'm looking towards Edmonton. I want to solidify my legacy and try to take one last run at the thing. And with their core group of guys coming in and, not having to be the big dog and just being that supportive part of that supportive cast like they had this year, I find that very alluring. We'd have to. I'm sure we'll comb through the list of free agents and see who fits that criteria of one that maybe hasn't won it and is looking for one more shot.
But I think that's why this run not ending in success too was hugely important because you look around the league. I mean, I think you could in the past 5 years you could have a handful of teams with what you just said.
Yeah.
If I'm a vet and I'm looking to, there's places to go and those are interesting. I think the Oilers right now. I mean, Vegas did it. Florida's like they've all these teams have checked off the boxes and done it.
Yeah.
The Oilers are the one now still standing with what you mentioned, like that that prime party hour of wanting to be part of this, and that's the best ticket to get to where you want to go in lifting that cup. I don't know who else. Boston's always. I get that. There's always teams that are kind of there and around, but in terms of story and drive and will to get there, tell me a better group in the league right now that you want to be a part of.
Yeah, I'd put the Oilers at the top of that list. Boston's won it more recently.
Yeah.
I get, Rangers, maybe.
And there's always a bit of an expectation there as well underneath. So but
it'll be interesting to see how everyone retools here.
Jasmine, I find it annoying how the players try hard to be extra serious at the award show. It's not cool and seems fake. And this goes to the looseness of hockey. We don't need to get into this debate all that. But there is a humor too in that. I like when it's awkward. I'm all for the awkwardness. And when the guy, the poor, whoever they get to do these, hey, I'm wearing a beard and I'm doing an accent. I'm just watching that twinging, and then he gets no response. And
well, hockey players, at that level, the individual stuff is. Look at Connor doesn't even come out and get the Conn Smythe, right? They don't.
No.
They don't really want this stuff. You play team sports. You play to win the game as a team.
How does the sport, though, contradict that? Because, the Conn Smythe, I think I heard Maddie saying that we just, it's not a crap award. It's
a
named after
huge
somebody.
award.
It's got some names on it.
Yeah.
So you don't just want to, throw it in the recycle bin there. Or what did Jaguar, his quote, I think he put on the trainer's table. He didn't bring it in the ring. And how can you? I get it, but what do we do with this thing?
I don't know. I think the final voting comes it has to be done by game 5 or something, or game 6, isn't it? Whatever it is. So I think you have the technology to kind of vote right up to the end. Okay,
it should be open. Yeah.
It should be open until that point.
Have us on an hour delay.
You can really make the case for Connor to win it, but then you see his reaction. He doesn't really care. I think it would be better suited to go to the winner.
Exactly.
If you were to give it to Barkov or Bobrovsky, I'm maybe the only people that would be upset is some real hardcore Oiler fans. You know, and why didn't McDavid? Well,
wouldn't have wanted it anyway. Okay.
So,
make everybody happy. Loomis in the nasty chat. It was a terrible presser, to which I'm assuming he's talking about 2J and not the debate. But maybe both. I don't know. Your thoughts on that? Again, it's dawning of a new day. There's a new man at the helm, albeit not GM title, but CEO of Hockey Ops. So, YouTube Trev, did you hear anything of Jeff? What are you pulling away as a dyed-in-the-cloth fan and thoughts and expectations heading into the weekend, but the summer ahead as well?
Yeah, not honestly, my biggest takeaway is, I know a lot of people are just the going on Twitter. So many Flames fans are like, "Oh, I've heard this before. This is what Johnny Gaudreau and Tkachuk had to say about Leon Draisaitl." And a lot of people are thinking down south that he's going, but the thing with Jeff Jackson is he didn't seem worried at all. That's my biggest takeaway.
The demeanor and
he didn't seem. He's I haven't really talked to him. We'll get to that somewhere eventually. He's being patient with it, but he wasn't frazzled. He wasn't oh no, he seemed very calm and poised, and that's what I like. I like that a lot. So going forward, and he nailed it. He says we got to get a GM. Obviously, Leon Draisaitl's not going to sign not knowing who the next GM is. So I think that's huge. But I'm not worried at all. I'm really not. Leon and Connor, they're close. They want to win, and they want to win together. And I really think that's going to be in Edmonton. I don't think his contract's going to be as big, term-wise. I don't think it's going to be 8 years. I think it's going to be a little bit shorter. But I just love that was my biggest takeaway. He just was he wasn't concerned at all with. I didn't get that. Okay. So I honestly it was fresh voice. I didn't mind it. It was nice not having to hear about Detroit.
Yeah.
For once. So that was good.
Thank you.
But I didn't mind it at all.
Yeah, he said it.
All you can really judge is that. You're watching. All you can tell is the body language if he's and all this stuff. So And you're right, Trev. Other opposing fans, you do read between the lines when nothing's said, and you fill in the blanks however you want to fill them in. But, and as you mentioned, Gager, too, quite correctly, this is business, and people go through certain steps in business, and that's just the nature of the beast here.
Yeah, JJ said he he doesn't feel the need to get anything done right now with Leon. It's they had the discussion at the beginning of the year, and Tommy and I talked about it on Two Guys yesterday. When the Oilers were going through that tough time, memory serves me correctly, there was a lot of rumblings. Who's the GM next year? What's going on? And then the vice came down, and I think that came from Jeff Jetton. There's no more leaks. We're talking about this. If these people in the room, if something comes out, I know it's one of you guys. And it seemed like you didn't hear anything from the top end. And I think one of it was probably a GM, and two was talks with Leon about extending his contract, because you didn't hear any of it all year. And I think that was a conscious decision between both parties to just not be a distraction and focus on the product that goes on the ice. So that's great. That's leadership. That's what you want, I think.
I think as a fan, that should fill you with confidence if things are getting done properly at that level, and then that just cascades down. So, and also, players talk. If this is a good back and forth, hey, dealing with this team is quite easy. Well, not easy, but you know what I'm saying. Everybody comes to the table in a respect. No leaks, no nothing. You're respected. Everything's good.
Yeah.
It's all you can really do and sell yourself to players, UFAs, and even existing Oilers right now. 780-218-9999 is the number to text. We'll break now with a sports update. On the way, a little bit of that hurts as well. The Crack Pack for Wayne's is back. Stopped by Wayne's yesterday. We're having a little fun today. We've been doing sports over the past little while. Got some. You probably like this, a little 90210.
Oh my gosh!
I said, Gage, you might a Batman and a Happy Days as well. So we'll be cracking some randos from Wayne's coming up at the bottom of the 6 o'clock hour. Or near the top, I should say. Mike Johnson coming up as well. Your next chance at the $100,000 swing to win. To qualify in, that'll be coming up after Mike Johnson, just after 7:20. Cool But Canada Hotline of the Day. That's good. Tim Hauraney, F1 analyst and insider, coming up around 7:40. Trivia, 3 questions, Sobeys Liquor Beer of the Week, and the wrap to wrap up the show on a Friday. Should be a fun Friday. Get your thoughts in, whatever it is last night, the Elks loss, the Oilers offseason, or even if you want to go to the debate. I'm sure Gager would love to interact with you on that. But a sports update. We'll come back with That Hurts and a little Crack Pack action. Sean White with a 42-yard field goal in the dying seconds. The Elks coming up just short again. They fall 24-21 to the Lions, dropping Edmonton to 0-4 on the season. The club will enter a bye week and return home to take on the Red Blacks July 14th. Week 4 continues tonight out east with a battle of unbeatens. The 2-0 Argonauts playing host to the 3-0 Alouettes. Over to the NHL, where the Canucks have agreed to terms with Tyler Myers on a 3-year extension today with an AAV of $3 million. NHL awards dished out last night down in Vegas ahead of round 1 of the NHL draft, which goes tonight. Oilers not on the board until round 2. CEO of Hockey Ops Jeff Jackson addressing the media yesterday as the Oilers made it official and mutually parted ways with Ken Holland. On the diamond, the Bellingham Bells take the rubber match over the Riverhawks 6-1 down at Remax. Hawks have the day off. They'll welcome in the Port Angeles Lefties for a 3-game set beginning tomorrow night. Prospects and Okotoks Dogs postponed last night. Prospects back on the diamond tonight. They're scheduled to host the Weyburn Beavers from Sherwood Park. George Springer, 2 dingers and 6 RBIs. Jays pound the Yankees 9-2, taking the opener of that 4-game set from Toronto. Yusei Kikuchi gets the nod tonight. First pitch, 5:07. Group stage action continues tonight at the Copa America. At 4 o'clock, Costa Rica take on Colombia. Later on at 7, it's Brazil and Paraguay.
The Nielson Show with Dustin Nielson and Lieutenant Eric on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
Dip with my body, with my bone and get bar. I don't even wanna battle, y'all, no remorse. I switch this game up on y'all, not a matter of choice. My only option for getting rid of haters, standing around watching, the emulators. Stunner, afterburner, like 2 chains. Number one, my doors go up, your eyes froze up. When them dimes step out, your mouth blows up. In a city like mine, it ain't hard to find a king, cause my name is written on everything that you've ever seen. Suckers wanna battle and they stay toe up. I don't have to try hard cause they broke from the flow up. this, yo, disgrace. Look at your face. Stay out my lane.
Dip with my squad, the title of the track. 6:32 on the Nielsen Show. Lieutenant Eric, Joaquin Gage in for Dustin Nielsen. YouTube Trev behind the monitors as well. Looking to get up to a high of 21, mainly sunny today. 10 degrees right now in Edmonton. A little wet yesterday, but looks like a pretty nice weekend, at least for today. Saturday, a high of 24 under mainly sunny skies. So let's get with it. Canada Day weekend. That's what I knew it with this extended playoff run, that all of a sudden we're getting to July and, all right, summer. What the heck? And you're kind of halfway through it already. But here we are. Canada Day weekend, free agency looms in the draft tonight. What do you draft plans tonight, Mr. Joaquin Gage? Anything? You hosting a big party or whatever? Multiple chip flavors on tap?
Let's just see if magic can happen again in the 5th round. If what the Oilers can do, if they can repeat the mastery of 1992 when they picked a young Joaquin Gage. Who knows?
You'll have a drink tonight for that.
Oh,
hey?
yeah,
Kind of,
I'm always interested to see who goes around.
when that
time.
pick flies around,
Yeah,
hey? Like,
yeah.
it's kind of that time.
I've told this story numerous times, but the draft was something else back. Old Montreal form.
Oh,
Montreal, summertime, like scorch it, like so humid and nasty. First round took 3.5 hours, because all the Russians went. I remember because Kasparaitis was sitting next to me. And I think it was it Yashin? One of the other.
Let's see Yashin.
Yeah.
And no email probably. Hey? Like, this is all
nothing like
just-
that. Yeah, and
Not even Blackberries from
Yeah.
Steve Stalos's
Yeah,
camp.
yeah, nothing. It was completely different at that time. And seeing, I remember when the first goalie taken that year was Jim Carey, and so and they say the first goalie taken, and you could see all the other goalies like ears pop out, and I was like. Listen, no, it wasn't me, but it's a great day, but a sad day too.
It's nice. Like you don't plan these things. Obviously, you're a certain age, you get drafted when you do. But having the going to the Montreal Forum of all places to get drafted. I mean, this isn't the Bridgestone Center out of who knows where, right? Like this is
just like it was so cool to see that rink before it was not used anymore. Just the history, you see the Stanley Cups, the banners. Like there was just thousands of banners in the rafters there, and that was a lot of fun. Montreal's a great city.
Well, and it's
summer, winter, but it was fantastic for that weekend.
Wheels asks in the nasty chat, what's the next thing Ken Holland will do? Not too sure on the. I mean, Columbus was a bubbling up market, I guess, weeks ago. That was a little bit of a tidbit rumor. I don't know about that, but. Was it? I saw Chicago rumblings about Chicago last night too. I don't. Nothing's been confirmed as of yet for our dear old Kenny Holland. I mean, I wish him well. He can ride off into the sunset wherever he wants, but obviously a lot richer since his appointment here in Edmonton, so that's fine. But yes, we bid Ken Holland adieu and farewell and all those good things, and didn't get the cup, but got him damn close. And probably if Dusty Nielsen is correct, 1 to 3 years, there will be a credit and a tip of the cap to the work that he did, albeit some things not getting over the line. And in this fan base, you have to be 100% perfect. I know the bar that Shirley set wasn't exactly one that you. More like a hula.
Yeah, I mean the next guy coming in, it's essentially a furnished apartment. There was some cracks in the walls, and probably some stains on the carpet when Kenny came in the first time. He's got this place, realtor ready for someone else to come in and kind of put their mark in it. And I'm sure, like you said, when the Oilers eventually get this thing done, hopefully in the next few years, a lot of credit will. His name won't be on it, but his. A few fingerprints are definitely on this Edmonton Oilers team.
I should think so, and I think most people would agree on that. Ride a vacuum off into the sunset from Relista. Yeah. I mean, look, maybe that's what gets you in text today. Text that in 780-218-9999, Paris Drew's inbox. Let's have a little fun. It's a Friday show. Give us your best Kenny Holland texts, memories, whatever it is. Again, even before his appointment here, he would join us. I mean, we'd put out a flyer for him. Oh, yeah, come on, and you'd have to be like, Ken, well, our time's up, and he'd keep talking and like just a very generous man with his time, always, ready to talk, I mean, maybe in today's executive world, saying too much at times, and giving too much of himself, showing his cards, but I think some of the anecdotes he'd bring up, I mean, it'd be annoying sometimes when the team wasn't doing well and you wanted firm answers, but I feel the guy in a sport that sometimes lacks characters, especially in that area, He was one. He is one, and I liked him for that.
The first time I met him was at a. Sometimes they have the season ticket holder meetings or whatever, and it was the first time we had a little tete-a-tete, and it's funny because it was just two old goalies that didn't really have great NHL careers, and we had some good stories to tell each other about our experiences just getting to the NHL, getting completely lit up, and like so he's very, when he opens up like that, he's just he's like talking to your uncle. Your fun uncle at that point. Yeah, it was a really, really neat guy. I hope him all the best. He's probably looking at a Dyson vacuum. I can sell 1 million of these things,
780-218-9999. Once again, if you want to bid anything, bid any farewells to Kenny Holland, we'll be glad to read them out. And maybe, just maybe, it gets you in for text of the day. Let's get to That Hurts right now, brought to you by SB-LLP Injury Law Firm. Albertans suffer personal injuries in accidents every single day. Many of you, though, are too overwhelmed to seek the legal advice that you need. Just leave it in the hands of those who can look after it for you. Those are the experts at SB-LLP. The personal injury lawyers at SB-LLP have the experience to gather evidence and advance your claim to ensure you get fair compensation. And the best part is you don't need to be intimidated by the process. www.sb-llp.com. You click on personal injury or give them a call, 780-438-5281. No need to feel shame. Let SB-LLP handle the claim. It's the Elks, which hurts. And I think we do have to get into this. Again, we have a draft, we have free agency, we have a lot of things to discuss with the Oilers. But right now, the Edmonton Elks are sitting at 0-4 on the season, 98 points scored for, which is in a tie for second in the West.
Yeah.
Albeit an extra game played, but also 115 against. This is a team right now that is nothing short of entertaining. They are putting together, starting 2 receivers from the Elks in my fantasy team last night, and coming out pretty good in Dylan Mitchell and Curly Gittins Jr. McLeod Bethel-Thompson humming the ball around again. He's putting up numbers. The offense is looking fine. The defense seems to be a bit of an issue. And again, with what we saw last night, penalties, undisciplined play. I think it does come back to roost on Chris Jones, and as Box Pounder pointed out as well, maybe fumbling the ball in terms of knowing the rules and calling timeouts. These are things, and this dates back to last season too, with players not knowing to take a knee in the end zone. All of these little things that are almost CFL football 101, and I know a lot of these guys come from a States background, 4 down or whatever, but give me a break. All 8 other teams do it quite well and have been doing it for some time. This league's been around for some time. I'm not buying to any excuse in there. These guys should be ready to go. They should know what they're doing. Not just the players, but the coaching staff at this point. Chris Jones has had a lot of success in this league in the past. He's been a great coordinator. He's been a great head coach, and he's populated the league with a lot of great players. Just ain't seeing it right now, though, and especially on the defensive side, which is usually his big strength. So, yes, that hurts. The Elks not only 0-4, but just in the fashion they've got there, because what could have been in terms of how the offense has been playing. And again, 0-4 against, let's see, the BC Lions 3-1, the Saskatchewan Roughriders 3-0, the Montreal Alouettes 3-0, and the Toronto Argonauts 2-0. They haven't played any of the Sisters of the Poor, and you could maybe say a lot of those good teams have beaten up on some of these lesser than. So maybe the Elks do need a little cooking ladder down the table when it comes to the standings. But we said beginning of the season it was going to be tough slogging with these first 4 weeks. It's proven that. You're heading into a bye week now. I know there's some rumblings of the ownership. We've been hearing rumblings for weeks, if not months, on that. It needs to get figured out so the next step can be taken, and that gets figured out, and then you can figure things out down the line. Much like the Oilers. Again, you need things crystal clear at the top, and only then can you address the issues below. And I think right now, getting that ownership, whatever it is, whatever model, private, public, a combination, you got to get that in place, and those people need to get in there, dissect things, make the incisions where need be, and move on. Because this isn't a... And again, we went back to the start of the show. This isn't Oilers teams of the decade where you had no talent anywhere. You're looking for... that was crap. This is not that. These are great weapons, great players, but when you're bringing in all this talent time and time again and it's still not clicking, where does the brain usually then go? You can't help but not look again to who's pulling the levers and calling the shots.
And it affects teams a little bit. I can only talk about from a hockey standpoint, but when you have if you don't know what's happening at the top, there's always that little splinter in the back. Well, what's going to happen here?
And in a league too, where tomorrow's not guaranteed for a player.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
don't-
Yeah, you're basically, some guys week to week at some point, right?
Yeah.
So that looming cloud of uncertainty with upper management it can cause some things, and then it just filters down, and you have to say, well, geez, what's going on here? But now you see that you start putting two and two together here and seeing mismanagement.
And now define that culture for me. Like define that culture, how that it as a player in a room with all of that going on around you and that noise.
I mean, the message I guarantee is block everything out, concentrate on the field. But it's hard. It's very hard when it gets to that point. And what really compounds it is not winning. I mean, if they were to win, winning quiets everything else going on. Makes everyone just okay. We won the game. We're a little bit better off here. It's just these not finishing the game.
It's like the Oilers too, and you could argue, and I think YTT echoed it too. You get swept in that final, okay?
Yeah.
I mean, okay.
Yeah.
You pick up your toys and you go home. There's but to get so close all the time and to demonstrate, talent and all that, but coming up short, not knowing how to win.
Exactly.
I mean, if this team was getting pumped 50-0, okay, well, they suck.
Yeah.
And we would take the messages and we would read them and we'd all have a good day, but you're so close.
Mm-hmm.
How can you not get this over the line? So, and I look at this as a Montreal Alouettes of last year, too. I mean, the team had its own ownership issues. They were kind of up and down midway through. It's the CFL, baby, and these things can turn around. They're nothing short of talent. There's something here. It's a bit of a sleeping giant, but the time is ticking, and time is not on their side at all. So you had to win yesterday.
Yeah.
Elks, again, falling to 0-4. Sean White, of course, former Eskimo here, kicking the game winner with dying seconds. 24-21. The Lions improving to 3-1. The Elks dropping to 0-4. McLeod Bethel Thompson, a touchdown and 2 picks. 247 through the air, 19 of 30. Spread the ball out quite well. Again, I do believe Dylan Mitchell is leading receiver again. Targeted 8 times, brought in 4 for 81. Curly Gittins Jr., 6 targets, 5 grabs for a touchdown as well. And that Hergy Mayala not playing last night. Gavin Cobb got a couple of looks as well and a catch for 10 yards. So Elks have some time off now. Good thing is, though, they'll be back home, to which means the tailgate back on mid-July, Trev.
Let's go.
Gotta love that,
I can't wait.
That'll get the juice back in your veins here.
14th,
That's what we need.
I believe.
Yeah, 14th. July 14th.
Yeah.
Saturday, I want to say.
It's a Saturday.
Yeah, it's a Saturday.
Oh, come on now.
Yeah.
5 o'clock? Or,
Nothing better.
I'll be there at around, 12, 11:30, getting the kitchen ready.
And maybe this is the cooking they need against Donald Rebellex team that sometimes is
Let's
up and down
hope so.
themselves. So Elks, July 14th, back at Commonwealth, and we'll be back with the tailgate as well. It's going to be great. If not the results, the tailgating is always a touchdown. 6:45, Nielson Show, Lieutenant Eric, Joaquin Gage, and YouTube. Trev, let's get into the crack pack right now for Wayne Sports Cards. And I'm waiting for this. Trev, if you want to pick one, I don't know what would be more your vintage. A Batman, a Ninja Turtle, Happy Days? I don't know if that's more...
I'll let you guys pick. I'll take whatever's left.
Okay, well, here...
I got to go 90210.
I saw that, and I was like, Joaquin Gage, I had to
this
scream
is,
him. Turtles or Batman, I guess? Batman. It's
that's Jack Nicholson
It's
Batman.
the Jack Joker, yeah. So... Once again, we Wayne Sports Cards, and we love him. Get down there and see Wayne. He'll be at the golf tournament next week. Finally paid up Matty Iwanick, to which Matty was looking for that money a lot. But Wayne Sports Cards, it's in the little strip mall here on the west side, tucked in with the Italian Center as well. But go see them today. Great sports cards, everything like that. Star Wars cards. I was trying to get them to part ways with a few of those, but they got some new boxes in of that, cases of Star Wars cards. So if you're into that, it's not just sports. And a lot of these, I mean, the Turtles, they got Elf for crying out. Elf with an A. The alien elf that ate the cats. But Ninja Turtles 90210, great little gag gifts. If you're looking for like a birthday or something like that, these retro cards are great. Comes with the gum. Wouldn't suggest eating it. But let's crack these puppies right now. I like the sports cards and the big breaks, the money on the line and everything. But sometimes going down these yesteryear memory lanes are quite fun too.
Oh my!
Are you seeing a lot of hits in there?
This is just classic. This is
Baxter
God.
the Fly. I got that.
Yeah.
I love the Ninja Turtles ones. I'm glad Trev you let me have this one. What do you get in the Batman? Anything?
I've got to work tonight.
Jack the Joker.
I don't know what that means.
Oh man. These are just great. Ian Zerling. Sorry, I didn't pronounce his name right. Just of you might recognize him from Sharknado theme. Horsing around with Austin.
Is that what it says?
Yeah, it's horsing around. Do these guys know how to have fun or what? Sometimes the cast of 90210 has such a good time on set that the director has to remind them they're working.
From 90210 to Sharknado. Hey, what
a jump.
Yeah,
what a jump. Quick quiz, trivia question number 15. Do the stars of 90210 think their characters seem real? I don't know.
Wasn't it real?
Yeah, I thought it was a
It's all real, isn't it?
I thought it was a documentary, but actually I did watch that Tori Spelling documentary where I think her parents left her nothing of the fortune.
Family was right.
Yeah.
You can have your Kardashians.
Yeah,
right? The Spellings were.
The Spellings were great, and there was the rumor that what's his name, the head spelling guy. Anyways,
is it Arthur
or something like that? He would just sit in the boardroom and they would basically pitch for the 90210 show. They would say, well, let's have Tori do this. And he would just go, that sounds amazing. And so it was great. But great show. Luke Perry didn't get a Luke Perry, which I was
we were going Perry hunting.
Yeah,
you got a brand. You have to suffer.
I got a Brandon, but so that's good pulse. Good
Aaron
pulse.
Spelling, Tori, Candy, Randy, Caroline, David.
I just found it hilarious, and how much money Tori Spelling was actually spending per month, just completely in debt with a basically Hollywood royalty. And,
Dan was a hunk though, hey?
Oh yeah,
that had a hair, baby. That don't lie. Trev, what do you got? Anything of note in there? I mean, you got any Whoppers or a checklist?
I don't know what a Whopper is in this sense.
Can you send away for a tour of a 1992 something? There's always enter now for a contest, and you could tour the.
No, nothing like that. Kind of just photos of the Joker, the Batmobile.
That's nice.
The old Batmobile.
That's a hell of a ride,
the classic. Gotham City. That's pretty well it. Just tugging on the line. I don't know what that means, but
hello.
Yeah, kind of cool.
We'll
These
keep
are
those.
Vintage. They're classic.
We'll tweet them out there. Again, it's nice to. It's not just the hockey, the football, and all the other sports, but they got a lot of fun retro crap that you just go in there and one of those, and it's a great conversation starter at a party. We'll leave the happy days. Maybe we'll crack this a little later, maybe for the rap or something like that. So that's the Crack Pack, once again, brought to you by Wayne Sports Cards. You can check them out today. Wayne, great guy, family business, owned and operated out here on the West End. Don't eat the gum. Don't eat the gum. Okay. Well, you can. I wouldn't. What's the date on that pack there? 90?
I tried the gum, and it's
it's space food. It's not going to kill you, but
you'll be fine.
Yeah.
I didn't know Trev was a Star Wars follower. He's
on the new show, The Acolyte.
Oh yeah,
Acolyte?
we were discussing that.
Sick.
I mean, there were so many complaints about it. I have no complaints of anything Star Wars because I would have died for this as a kid. But the last episode, if you haven't seen it, one of the greatest 38 minutes of Star Wars I've seen in a long
time.
Yeah,
it's actually really good. We won't give away any spoilers, but looking back on it, Gager, they've actually done a really good job of foreshadowing. There's a lot of hints. I went back and I'm like, oh, okay, this makes a lot of sense actually. So we'll talk about it afterwards because there's a few things I want to discuss.
Okay. Sweet.
Your text as well, flying in 780-218-9999. Winning hides things. Look at the Oilers' 16-game streak. Were they perfect? No. They barely beat a couple of bad teams in OT, but they were winning, so you weren't looking at those things. The Elks need to just go out, get a couple of wins in a row here. Otherwise, that stadium is going to be completely empty midway through the year. I get it, but again, I just, when your team is down, I don't like the whole turning of the back. It's still a fun time. They're still an entertaining product. They're just not getting those W's, so I would humbly suggest that showing up might get them closer to those W's than completely turning your back and having them play in front of an empty stadium. And once again, check out the tailgate, and it's an affordable ticket. It's not going to break the bank for you to watch this team maybe pick up another L. But again, as I said, the entertainment is there and worth the money right now.
Swing by for a dog, too.
It's just, look, the Riverhawks weren't anything last year. They were crap, too, in their record, and people still... It's have a good time. Go out and have a good time. And if they win, that's a bonus for you.
We only got like 2.5 months more. Of summer.
I know.
So let's get out there.
Get
and
him
enjoy
out.
it.
Yeah, Riverhawks and Elks schedules are fleeting. If anyone's hating on Holland, RBM says, then I guess they don't like improvement of the team from 25th in the league to Game 7 of the SCF, which means Stanley Cup Final. I mean, come on. How much more evidence do you need? Well, in the strive for perfection, some people don't rest until you reach perfection. However, out of reach that might be most times. But I think two things can be true, and every GM. Nobody's perfect. They all have your warts, and we can discuss them. No. And maybe that one wart prevents you from getting where you need to go. Unfortunately, that's kind of how it works sometimes. But
I remember it was a few years ago. I think the Greek Freak was lost in the finals in the NBA, and his availability afterwards. The question was, "Is this a failure? Is this a failure?" And he's quite eloquent in how he approached the. No, we made steps. This is. You can't look at every year as a failure, or you'll never proceed. And I'm paraphrasing what he said.
That's not a black and white thing, where you.
No, he looked at that year it was a success for his team, for him. He learned a lot about everything else that he can apply to the next years. Like the amount of experience that you gain from something like this, playing at the highest stakes. The being able to quiet the mechanism as 18,000 people are screaming, and you're able to do things under that type of pressure at a very high level. That's something that you don't forget, and I think that's been kind of what the Oilers have been lacking, just that extra little bit of experience. It's always been bringing someone in that has that, and hopefully that filters throughout the room a little bit.
Yeah.
Now these guys have it, and you could see the poise of the Panthers, although they, it looked like they were losing it, but they started the games strong always, but the Oilers were just something a little bit better, and you saw that little bit extra that they were able to do to close out that series.
And it's those before. Here's my son starting grade 6. Here he is on the last day of grade 6, and that should be a big day. Again, you've grown a lot in this, specifically this season. So, and I know again, you lose. You're so close. Yes, it's a failure in the moment, but I think Oilers fans, again, as these weeks kind of move on, that attitude needs to be kind of front and center and saying, hey, this is, because again, to me, this is just an intermission. Really, into what they're doing, much like the Panthers last year and what they said. Rip City Steps, sorry I'm late. I'm sure he touched on this controversy as he texts in a headline here. LeBron James accused of teammate's mum affair.
I know, yeah.
That's
a great meme.
Yaha. We were waiting for that. And Bronny's agent reportedly telling teams, like, you take him, he's going to Australia, right, until he reaches the Lakers and everything. God, the NBA, it just doesn't sleep. Anytime you think that they've hit the heights, they just take you a step further. But, Dusty somewhere is probably popping a bottle, for this one. He's probably crying and dreams of him and Marshall maybe someday growing
up. One day,
playing some sort of rec sport maybe in this sense. But, we can dream. But LeBron and Bronny, the jokes make their rounds as they do with that figure. So not too much to touch on there. But
it was cool talking to Paul Sir about it yesterday on the Hangout.
Yeah.
Just how his take on it. And this kid, looking at his stats, nothing, like he wouldn't be drafted, but because of his dad. A little bit of nepotism is always nice sometimes, it helps.
We'd be dumb to suggest it doesn't exist, especially in the sporting realm, right? It happens.
I mean, we'll rip Marshall when he's running this thing.
Absolutely. Hey, it exists. Doesn't mean we're going to rip you for it. Yeah. Two things are true here. Yeah.
But, no, whatever. I mean, they've been showing those clips of Griffey Jr. and Sr. playing together for the Mariners, and Griffey, cutting him off and taking the ball, and them saying, "Oh, he got grounded, couldn't leave the house that night," or whatever. So I'll watch it. I mean, I'll have eyes on it.
Yeah.
It would be neat to see LeBron pass to his son, and then hopefully his son can sink one or something, or vice versa, whatever. It's amazing that LeBron has been able to accomplish this a bit. But I mean, if Dusty was born 10 years later, Michael Jordan would be his favorite player.
It's kind of how that all lines up anyways, right? It doesn't have anything to do with that. But a credit to Bronny for old Bronny for keeping his... I mean, I think the debate around The Office yesterday, too, was athletes and who's in sports and everything, and keeping your body, and I mean it is a temple, but keeping it performing at a rate such as that year in, year out.
Yeah, I mean, and Paul said it yesterday, this guy had a major health scare too, so just the fact that he's able to do something like this is great, but that's got to be first and foremost.
Yeah.
Health.
780-218-9999, Paris Jewelers inbox. Get your texts in. Text the day on the line, $20 to A&W, and we'll announce that at the end of the show. Nasty Chad's bumping as well. If you are on YouTube, hit the thumb, hit the like, give us a like, hit the sub if you haven't already. Let's change 100, 200, whatever you want to do. It's a Friday, but hit the thumb if you're in there. Why not? Doesn't cost you anything, and it helps us out a bit as well. We'll get to a sports update here for a Green Plan. On the way, hour number 2, TSN's Mike Johnson will join us right after the top of the hour. Of course, we'll get his thoughts. Well, an Oilers eulogy of sorts as well on the season, since we haven't talked to him since last Friday, and what a change that's been since last Friday in this market. So we'll get his thoughts on everything that's transpired since, of course, the awards last night and the draft taking place tonight, and of course, free agency looming as well on this Canada Day. Long one, your next chance. If you qualified yesterday, be by your phone after Mike Johnson will be giving one of you a lucky call. You'll be the next contestant in for the $100,000 swing to win, and that's right around the bend next week down at the Ranch Golf and Country Club. So once again, if you qualified yesterday, be by your phone. We'll make that call right after Mike Johnson. Cool Bet Canada Hotline of the Day. We'll touch on them for a bit. That's good. Courtesy of the Italian Center Shop. And that's all ahead of Tim Hauraney, our F1 analyst and insider. He'll join us just before 8 o'clock. Sports update right now. Lieutenant Eric, Joaquin Gage, YouTube Trev, in for Dustin Nielson this morning on The Nielson Show, EdmontonSportsTalk.com. The Edmonton Elks, they fall to 0-4 on the young season as Sean White hit a 42-yarder in the dying seconds. Lions 24, Elks 21. The club will enter a bye week and return home to take on the Red Blacks July 14th. Week 4 will continue tonight out east with a battle of unbeatens. It's the 2-0 Argonauts playing host to the 3-0 Alouettes. The Vancouver Canucks agreeing to terms with Tyler Myers on a 3-year extension, carries with it an AAV of $3 million. NHL Awards dished out last night down in Vegas ahead of round 1 of the draft, which goes tonight. Oilers selecting in round 2. Oilers CEO of Hockey Ops Jeff Jackson addressed the media yesterday as the Oilers made it official and mutually parted ways with Ken Holland. On the diamond, the Bellingham Bells take the rubber match over the Riverhawks 6-1 down at Remax. Hawks have the day off. They'll welcome in the Port Angeles Lefties for a 3-game set beginning tomorrow night. Prospects and Okotoks Dogs postponed last night. The Prospects are back in action tonight when they host the Weyburn Beavers out in Sherwood Park. George Springer, 6 RBIs and 2 dingers. Jays pound the Yankees 9-2, taking game 1 of that 4-game series. Down in Toronto, Yusei Kikuchi will get the nod tonight. First pitch, 5:07. On the pitch, group stage action continues at the Copa America. Later on today at 4 o'clock, Costa Rica take on Colombia, while at 7, it's Brazil and Paraguay. Canada will round out group stage play tomorrow against Chile, kickoff at 6. Sports update brought to you by Green Plan, providing you with award-winning environmental planning and consulting service, whether it's municipal, industrial, or residential. Plan it right with Green Plan. Visit green-plan.com or give them a call, 780-455-4292.
The Nielsen Show with Dustin Nielson and Lieutenant Eric on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
Gotta be loving the tunes this morning, eh? I mean, this is close to a dance party Friday as we're gonna get, I think. 7:01. You are tuned into the Nielsen Show. EdmontonSportsTalk.com, the iHeart and TuneIn radio apps, and as always on YouTube. Nice to see everybody in the chat. Most of the trolls, I think, have gone back under their bridge, I do believe, from the Stanley Cup playoffs and finals. So that's nice to kind of clean up this nasty chat over the summer months. That'll be nice to see. So Dustin Nielson, of course, is away. CFL and TSN duties. He had the call last night in Vancouver with the Elks coming up just short again, falling to 0-4 with a 24-21 loss to the Lions. Lieutenant Eric Joaquin Gage with you as well today, and YouTube Trev behind the monitors. And we are brought to you, as always, by the good people down at South Fort Chevrolet. www.southfortchev.com is where you can find it. They've been closer to you think since 1983. A short drive to Fort Sask is worth it to find the best deal at the best price. And right now, 15% off accessories for your new ride. Once again, that's South Fort Chev. Check them out online, www.southfortchev.com. And we will be joined right now by our first guest of the day. We'll get right into him. Mike Johnson of TSN, hockey analyst, brought to you by Pro-Am Sports. Pro-Am will be closed for an extended Canada Day long weekend today through Monday. But unlike NHL insiders and analysts, they'll be back at work on Tuesday instead of posting pictures from the cottage. This is their words, not mine. Stay tuned for details. They will be having a granddaddy of all sales coming up in July. So keep it locked to Pro-Am for that. And you can check them out, as always, online at proamsports.ca. And we appreciate, once again, the time of TSN's Mike Johnson today. I know the cup has been handed out. The NHL, though, not sleeping as well right now. Busy season upon us, so we appreciate your time, Mike. I just want to give you this time, Mike, right now to start off. And again, as we always say with our insiders and analysts, a lot can happen in a week, and a lot has been happening in a week. Last time we talked to you, it was a party atmosphere here in the market. We are now bidding farewell to Ken Holland yesterday. Just your thoughts, Mike, on the series that it was, and a chance to eulogize this version of the Oilers that we saw coming up just short in that Game 7.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, right? Like, it was a Game 7 series. Game 7 was great, like tense and tight, and it wasn't great for Edmonton, but it felt like an appropriate Game 7, just nervy and physical and all that. But the series otherwise was strange, right? Like, Florida winning games, goaltending, whatever, then storming back and sort of dominating 3 games in a row. There weren't a lot of compelling moments until the last game. The Oilers were so close. They're right there, obviously. It's 1 goal in Game 7. Their 2 best players are debilitated with injuries. Like that's the difference. Like if Leon Draisaitl is healthy, which is, sometimes you are, sometimes you're not, they probably win the Stanley Cup. Like that's the reality. But I guess you applaud them for the good year. You assume, well, they've learned lessons. They're a really good team. Their best players are right in their prime. They'll be back, which is a dangerous thing to assume because you just don't know, even with best intentions and great players, you just don't know if you'll do that. So, disappointing that they weren't able to get it done. I had Ken Holland on set with us before Game 7. NHL Network, and he was in good spirits, but he offered up no indication he was going anywhere. But it just tells you how quickly, like, they don't win on whatever day it was. 2 days later, Ken Holland is like, okay, I'm no longer a part of this organization. And I get he had been transitioned to a different role, and it's Jeff Jackson's team now and everything else. But it's going to start an interesting summer for the Edmonton Oilers because Leon Draisaitl's conversation will dominate Oilers summer. And I thought Leon was completely appropriate. Said exactly what I would have told him to say. Like, I love being in Edmonton. That's number one thing you want to say. Don't say, I'm coming back no matter what. You say, like, I have to figure out what I want to do. They have to figure out what they want to do. We have to meet in the middle. I bet Edmonton fans would have rather a more bold proclamation, like, I'm not going anywhere. But I wouldn't do that if I was Leon. Even if I fully intended on coming back, I'd be like, no, I got to play it for a new contract a little bit. So that'll be interesting to watch now, figure out what's going to happen with him and then what's going to happen with the rest of the roster.
Mike, I as they send Ken Holland with the Viking funeral down the North Saskatchewan River here, Eric and I were talking earlier with the new person coming in. Is there any rumblings of who that might be? Or I think it has to be a guy that's willing to, empty the quiver of arrows to try to get this thing done. More so as we've seen in Vegas over the last few years, just, shooting for the fences because, look, the talking about how the window is, it's still open for the Oilers, obviously, but these guys aren't getting any younger too. Who have you heard anybody, or what type of GM do you think Jeff Jackson is kind of looking for, or maybe already has the list?
Yeah, well, not going to be him or something. Like I wonder if he's going to go the Kyle Dubas route. Like I'll do both. I don't know. I mean, who's making the decisions? So like you could hire me, right? Jeff Jackson's sort of the one really dictating the direction and working collaboratively, but the guy with the final word, I kind of feel like it's Jeff Jackson right now anyways, even when Ken Holland was there this past year. Maybe part of the reason why he went somewhere else is because, they already maybe that transition. So I haven't heard anything. I don't know any names, but the name that I'm like, I think it's Jeff Jackson, the guy's in charge. And even if they hired someone else, I don't know if that would change the power dynamic in the front office. I get what you're saying, though. Like, I think Ken Holland, it seemed a little hesitant to sometimes trade the future away, trade the top prospects away. But when you see Broberg playing in the final, you see Holloway, you're like, man, maybe that wasn't such a bad idea to keep some of these guys around and fill out their roster. But I don't know if it matters. 'Cause I think my impression is that Jeff Jackson sort of is the guy in charge anyways.
All I heard there was you were throwing your hat in the ring, so I hope you enjoy Edmonton.
Well, Mike, keeping on this example, Mike, your phone rings later today, and it's 2J saying, "Hello, Mike. Would you like the job?" And in a hypothetical world, you say, "Oh, that sounds great. I'll take it." What would then be GM Mike Johnson's number one bit of business? Because I do feel we're talking Leon and all these things, but I did think too that this run, albeit not ending with a cup lifting, was a great PR campaign for this club around the league, not just to players on this team like a Connor Brown who mentioned, kind of had no idea, maybe a bit of an idea, but until he saw this city come alive, now this is great, I want to be here. But to potential UFAs around the league, even tonight as we head into a draft with young players coming into the league and saying, wow, if I go there and make history, this is the place to be. So whoever comes in, whether it's you or somebody else, Mike, to take this job, you got to think that with Ken Holland left and what's kind of here and the status of the team as it stands roster-wise, this is a pretty good situation you're walking into in order of trying to get players to come here or vice versa. This isn't just the winter landscape as we've been told in certain years, free agents don't want to come up here and all this stuff. This is now the place to be.
The success is amazing. Like, honestly, and I'm not equating Edmonton to Mars, but like, you could put me on the moon. If my team is good and I have a chance to win, I will enjoy the experience there. That's the reality. Now, there are places like maybe Anaheim, I could be on a bad team and still enjoy the experience there, and that might be different than Winnipeg or Edmonton or Toronto or whatever. But I think the fact that they have Connor and Leon around. So obviously, order number one is figuring out what's going on with Leon Draisaitl. Like, that is priority number one. One, you need to know what that money looks like. He's going to be the highest paid player in the league. He's going to pass Austin Matthews. He has an easy case to make that I deserve to be paid a little bit more than Austin Matthews. It's easy to make. So that's the kind of first piece you need to fall into place, and then you have to round out the rest of the roster. The question becomes, is the best way to go about it Connor Brown's, Adam Henrique's on 1 and 2 year deals, or do you want Zach Hyman's on 7-year deals? And like, trying to find that sweet spot for the right amount of term and hitting it on the right player. Obviously, with Zach, it was a brilliant decision to sign him to a long-term deal. I think, generally speaking, on those parts at the periphery of your roster, which are so important, we learned Janmark, Brown, Henrique, that was a massive part of this team. You want to maintain flexibility if you can on players like that. So that when I get the job in a couple weeks, that's the conversation that I will have. Like, we need Leon, we get the core pieces established, and then I sell it. Listen, even if you're not sure you want to, what's going to happen with like a 6-year contract for the next 2 years, we're going to be right there with the best teams in the league. And you saw here, push play. There's the Moss split. There's downtown. There's Shania Twain. This is what you get. You want to play for the max to take care of their players and on players and have the best 2 of the top, 7 players in the world and have a chance to win. You got that right here. So come for a year, come for 2 years and have a chance to do that. And you'll love your hockey experience. You'll love your living experience and you have a chance to win. Like, that's the pitch, but it starts with Leon. And then probably Evan Bouchard, who he finished 5th.
Yeah.
Trophy voting last night. And I'm like, that ticket has not gotten any cheaper.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like that he's not pushing 10. He's north of 8. Pushing, even as a non-perfect player, he's pushing north of 8. So you start with those big guys, then you work through the rest.
TSN's Mike Johnson with us. I guess, Mike, I'd ask you too, and they don't call you Mystic Mike for no reason, but what would a Leon deal look like here in terms of maybe term in that? Or do you see this thing going long? Maybe it's like more of a condensed timeline, but how would you see the Draisaitl going down today from kind of what we know and what we've seen?
There's like 3 options, right? The most obvious one, I ran the numbers the other day, percentage of the cap, put him slightly out of Austin Matthews. He basically makes $14 million on an 8-year contract.
Nope.
Oh.
Lost Mike for a second. He'll reconnect, but that's okay. But there are options there with him. It's not just kind of
Listen.
Oh, here he is. He's back.
It wouldn't be my hit at the cottage unless I drop out for 10 seconds. That would work. I have so bang on money that I drop every time. But anyway, so on an 8-year deal, Leon's like at 14. Right? There's 2 other options. Like he can go 1-year extension sort of thing to match up with Connor, and then just sort of, if they have that, whatever, they want to go together. Again, that would be slightly less, $13 million if you want to do a 1-year extension. And then the other option is the NBA option. Austin Matthews is from the school of this. Nathan McKee, you go 4 years, and then you get one more crack at it when you're 31. And you go your 8-year deal. And if he does that, it's same thing. It'd be 13.5 per year, whatever that ends up being, $54 million. Those are kind of the 3 ranges. But if you're Edmonton, you're you want 8. You want this guy from the franchise. No, he's not going on anywhere. And the conversation with Connor coming up saying, we know what we have together. Let's keep it together.
Mike, since you're out there, I know you're at the cottage, but probably still hearing rumblings. Just the draft tonight, first round, do you see any sparks flying? Is there talk about Mitch Marner or anything? Can you give us any scoops of maybe some fireworks that could or possibly happen, or is it just going to be par for the course and roll right through with the usual suspects in the first round?
Yeah, I'm sort of disappointed, Gage. I don't think Mitch Marner is going anywhere unless something changes drastically. From what I understand, not going anywhere anytime soon. Not in the next week or whatever before free agency. I think they're going to explore what an extension looks like, kind of see what their free agency looks like. I know people in Toronto might be rolling their eyes hang on, we're bringing them back again. New coach is not quite the same group. But no, I don't think a blockbuster like that. The one guy I'm watching is I wonder if Patrick Laine for a pick. If you're Columbus, you are resetting everything. New GM, new coach. It's all sort of starting not from scratch, but you're going down to the studs. So could Laine be had for a 5th pick, a 7th pick of Montreal? I wonder if there's something with him, as a high-profile player that gets dealt. But I don't think you'll see shuffling. I'll slide down from 11 to 15, and I'll pick up an extra 3rd-round pick, that kind of stuff, because the draft really is congested after the top 5. You're not exactly sure. The guy you might legitimately like, not just say on TV, I can't believe he was there, like everyone did. But you actually wanted that guy. You can get him at 17, get him at 10. It just depends on what your list looks like. So we'll see that kind of stuff, but I don't know if we're going to see major fireworks with current players.
And just quickly, Mike, back to the Oilers for one sec, taking a look at those UFAs this season, and I know a lot of people focusing hard on that 3rd line. Can't have them all, but in terms of UFAs and players that you'd maybe like to see back in this fold, and the Janmarks, the Browns, that type of thing, how many of these set to hit the market UFAs the Oilers currently have? How many of them do you see coming back? Are there any surprises you might see a player that maybe fans expect to be back in the fold that may not, that may have priced himself out? Where do you see kind of the Oilers taking their free agency idea into the summer here past Canada Day?
Well, I think what they learned, if anything, was how important a 3rd line is. It felt like it took 100 games this year, literally 100 games for them to get a 3rd line. What it looks like, right? Defensively responsible, can provide some offense, play, bring energy, trust that we can start them to start a game, to start a period, all that stuff that they did. But I was watching the final, and with every shift, I kept going, Matthias Janmark can't come back. Like, he's pricing himself out of Edmonton because he played so well. Like that, and we're like, that guy's going to get a 4-year deal for 0.75 a year, something like that. And like, that's the one you can't give guys like that as much as I want them to get that deal. Again, when I run the team, like, I want to keep my bottom 6 guys on very short-term deals, not because I don't like them. You overpay on 4 years. You need that flexibility baked in. So I think probably Janmark, I don't know, because I think he'll have other better options. I think Henrique would be a good option. But again, he's probably going to make too much money. He scored like 20 goals, whatever, is 48 points this year. Like, that's not a $1 million, $1.5 million player. That's a $4.5 million player. Even on a short-term deal, you can't do that. Connor Brown would be maybe one of the guys that probably would be open to coming back. He finally hit his stride. He's got the relationships there with Jeff Jackson and everything else. So that might be something that is interesting to them. Vinny Desharnais, he might be a guy that would be interested in coming back. I don't know, how much money will be out there for him. So he might be a guy that's a good fit. They understand him. He understands the market. And then you chip away like that. But what you got to try to find is the challenge for every team. I need Janmark, or he plays like Janmark. I need Henrique. Like, I need a guy who's going to make $1.5 million. But he can play that way. And then I put together a $5 million third line that gives me something like what we saw from those guys.
Mike, we can discuss this further in the summer because my neighbor's house is on sale, and when you eventually move out here, we can meet on the back porches together. But you're talking about these bottom 6. This money is getting tricky. Jack Campbell. Which route do you think the Edmonton Oilers are they buying him out, or is this kind of a lengthy process of trying to find the GM and then trying to find a place to move Jack Campbell to free up that? I mean, in the minors, I believe it's just over a little over $3 million in cap space, but that could be quite valuable again for this third line of guys to keep them at Edmonton.
Yeah, so I have to check Jack's contract and the signing bonus and stuff, but I think my inclination is probably you buy him out. Yeah. Buy him out now. And it's a big ticket to he's got 3 more years on his deal. You're going to eat 6 years of buyout money. And I hate, on my team again, Gager, I hate dead money. I want to do everything in my power. I want no part of $3 million allocated I don't get. I don't want to do that, but I don't think there's any other options for Jack. I don't think you're not going to find a trade partner unless you're taking back an equally troublesome contract. So you're just shuffling deck chairs. I don't know if the rehabilitation angle is like Stuart Skinner's your guy. Do you want Jack Campbell back as the backup? I don't know if that even makes sense anymore when Stuart Skinner has done what he's done. So I think, unless you scour the league and find some other option, I think buying him out is probably the option. And then you go and get whoever, whether it's Pickard or Lankinen, or you go find a backup that you can pay $1 million to. That would be good to help Stuart Skinner. And all of a sudden you have a really nice tandem in net that you're paying whatever, $4 million, $5 million. And that's good value in net, which is what we're all about. Gager, you're my assistant GM now. We need value. We need value on our edges. And that's why we have smart people like you to find. And the Oilers can find that in their backup, whoever it ends up being. But I think you probably got to buy him out.
I love where you're at, buddy.
Yeah, and update that LinkedIn, Mike, and maybe we'll be talking GM Mike Johnson next season or something. I want to see you running a team now. I think it's very encouraging. But we appreciate your time as always, man. Enjoy the cottage and get back to the living. Probably talk next week, wrap all the things up, free agency and the draft and all that. But thanks for your time again. Enjoy the weekend. Happy Canada Day.
All right, guys. Happy Canada Day. Have a safe and fun weekend. We'll talk to you later. Cheers.
Bang on. Bang on. TSN's Mike Johnson, our hockey analyst, every Friday. Mystic Mike, as he likes to kind of go all around. Yeah, I mean, I love he names you. Didn't even ask. Names you. That's AGM right here. I love it. But the Campbell thing we haven't got to yet either. And just while we have a few seconds, the buyout window, obviously, that's been cracked open. A lot of fans, why isn't that the first action? Like, that should have been in the queue for transaction and buyouts, and then the window opens and he's bought out. Yeah. Now, again, they're figuring things out in the front office. That needs to happen. They don't seem to be all, worried that there's a timeline here that they have to. So he hasn't been bought out yet. Early days. is there some sort of? I mean, I look at the San Jose Sharks, right? If there's any dumping ground to be had, that would have to be it.
I need to scour, like once Mike tells me to do, scour the league. But there might be something there with the team to get to the floor. I don't know.
And I just wonder, since it hasn't happened yet, that maybe that's hanging in the balance, or it's just the fact that they don't have their ducks in a row yet.
To me, that's encouraging that it hasn't been done yet, because there's probably whispers of maybe there's traction somewhere.
That's what I'm kind of subscribing
quite
to.
Quite muddy
well.
with big meats tires, but but there might be some traction in the mud there to free up, because that's, again, there's little things. MJ said it. If Connor and Leon are operating at closer to their potential, I won't say completely healthy, because no one at that point is. There's a better chance that we're still partying in the streets right now.
Even two, and it is a weird thing, but if that's home ice.
Yeah, that might have pushed them,
Like, that really could have been it. And you look at a few results here or there, but.
But I think if Ken Holland had a little bit more cap space, a little more room, there's that, that $5 million, I guess it would be. That's a line for Mike. That's a line for Mike Johnson. Yeah. Let's just say it's 2. Let's just say an extra 2, because there would have been some retention or whatever. I think that would the player that you could have brought in to make a difference could have been just that bit. Yeah.
Fine margins, and again, I say too, and the season they had was great in terms of win streaks, but they're constantly pushing that boulder up the hill. And if you again would have division whatever, well, here you are playing Game 7 on the road, which again, the atmosphere that was constructed here. When your stars are hurt and you're trying to push this thing over the line, maybe that would be the thing to get you over that line. Yeah. But not to say that Florida won it with their home ice advantage, but the tilting would have been quite extreme.
I don't think there's been a better atmosphere in that building ever since. I wasn't at Snoop, but Game 6. Game 6 was and Game 4. That was something special. That's when you hear these guys talk, and going back for the summer, I'm sure these guys all working out with other guys.
Yeah.
God, I saw those games. How was it there? And they would be, you wouldn't believe what it was like in those 2 games. Like, that was, I've never witnessed something, and they've all said it, right? So, and we saw it. We saw what was outside. Connor said it, sitting in the room for an hour and a half after the game and still being able to hear people shouting. To make people happy. Nice to know he's a pleaser.
Yeah, even telling guys I went and got some booze and they wouldn't let me get back in my car. It's the good with the good. That's just passion, albeit redirected in a weird way. Trev, if we could get a lucky contestant on the line for the once again, if you qualified yesterday for the $100,000 swing to win, be by your phone now. Trev's going to be calling one of you from yesterday, and we'll get you on, and you'll be the next contestant in. While he does that, this text flies in. Please put a name. Oh, it is JJ. But I thought he was Wood Guy. Wood Guy on Twitter yesterday had it. Would you trade McLeod and Campbell to San Jose for basically nothing if the Sharks take the whole Campbell contract?
Ooh, that's you're getting a serviceable NHL player. You're losing one.
The Oilers win today, maybe, but maybe down the line it.
I mean, that frees up what? About if they took the whole thing?
The whole thing.
So that's like a little over 7?
You pulling the trigger on that? That's a pretty...
having 7 extra.
It's a good bag to get,
I think you can fill that void with 7 mil somewhere.
Upside of McLeod be damned in this case, because you're taking the 7 mil.
No, that can possibly give you 2, maybe 3 guys, right? So yeah, I don't know. It's McLeod. He's an enigma. There's parts of his game. I think it improved when he got to the wing, but now with Henrique kind of leaving, he falls back into that center position where he seemed to have struggled a little bit on the offensive side, and so. And
recency bias. I mean, McLeod didn't have a good playoffs. Putting it gently. And I mean, everybody in the National, you do it every day of the week. I get that. But, again, there is an upside to his game. Perhaps you could argue we haven't or hasn't been or maybe deployed in the prep. But again, you take that cap money's got to be paramount at this stage.
I think
because to your point too about pulling the trigger and Windows, like who cares what the cloud could or might be?
I think MJ pulls that trigger.
Mystic Mike will be pulling that all day long. Yeah. That dead cap space he made eventually. He doesn't want it.
Doesn't want it.
I love it. I'm all for Mike. Hey, Alex Steen is getting a job, right?
Exactly.
Who's to say? Mike's still been in the game. He's an analyst and all that. So. No, not me for GM, Gus. That wasn't my idea. That was texted in from JJ, and I think Wood Guy had the idea floated around on Twitter yesterday. But I mean, if you have any other ideas in terms of buyouts or whatever the case is, I mean, we'd sure love to toss them around, bat them around with you. No idea is a bad idea. 780-218-9999 or in the nasty chat. I mean, none of us are on the payroll. you can come up with any sort of
not yet.
Mr. AGM to my left here. I love it. Trev's on the line. He's got somebody wrangled here. We'll also give you a keyword coming up as well, as the keywords are I think you got it. It's beside you if you could, Gager. I appreciate that. We got the last couple of days. Your next chance to qualify will be tomorrow, I do believe, on Hello Hockey with Tom Gazzola and Sean Bell. So we got a keyword. Yes, today is what, the 28th? June 28th.
Wow.
My Lord, I can't... June 28th. So I'll give the word after we pull up the next contestant. Cool Bet Canada hotline of the day as well. That's good for the Italian Center. And Tim Hauraney will be joining us around 7:40 today. It is race week. We'll touch on the Austrian Grand Prix as sprint qualifying will be taking place later this morning. Not now.
In an hour.
In an hour.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect for us. We're going to be getting in that sweet spot. Trev, who did you wrangle up on the line today, baby?
First person didn't answer. I always feel bad. That always is just tough.
God.
Could you imagine? Just
No.
Oh,
You should always leave a message being like, you're out.
Yeah.
You know, like
You didn't pick it up.
really solidified.
But we have Tyson on the line.
Tyson, how you doing, man? Congratulations, you are the next contestant in a swing to win $100,000 at the Ranch Golf and Country Club, brought to you by Golf Town.
That's awesome. Thank you very much.
Have you, do you golf regularly? Are you a scratch golfer or anything like that?
Not that good, no. I try to swing it.
Okay. It's 180 yards, 17th hole at the Ranch Golf and Country Club. Are you familiar at all, Tyson, with the layout here?
Yes.
Okay.
But, water's calling my name.
Oh, I love it. Okay, well, calling your shot as it is. Should a contestant hole it out, though, Tyson, the contest will immediately end. All remaining contestants will not be able to take a swing, but the closest to the pin does get $1,000, and that was announced by Murray McCord of the Ranch Golf and Country Club. Gager, did you have anything for Tyson here?
Oh, Tyson, I just want to know what club are you using? Oh, and also, one of the questions, are you using a balata ball? Are you going with something a little bit softer? What's your strategy going into this?
No strategy. Just probably a 7-iron, 180 yards.
Right.
Try and put it out there and see if it rolls in.
Pro V1, I guess. Is that what you're using?
Yeah, I should probably spring for the better ball for this one.
Perfect.
Eyes closed, just swing it and see what happens. Tyson, congratulations, man. You're near the bottom, but you can watch everybody else screw up first, and your chance at $100,000 is on the way next week, July 3rd, out at the Ranch Golf and Country Club. Congrats, man, and we'll see you out there.
Thanks again, guys.
Hockey's done. Now we golf. Time to swap those jerseys for polos, unwind from the high energy of the playoffs, and enjoy the physical and mental benefits and relief of a good golf game. That'll calm you down. Golf Town is where it's at. You can check them out today. Golftown.com. Canada Day flash sale up to save up to 40% off on the top brands in golf: TaylorMade, Cobra, Puma, Nike, Adidas, and more. 4 days only. It ends July 1. Online only as well. So golftown.com. You can check it out there. And once again, the $100,000 swing to win will be going down July 3rd. We'll be there. We'll be having the show live there. Everybody will be out. It'll be a party atmosphere. Jay Milne will have the cameras on the ball. I think we'll have a camera on every single ball that's launched out at the $100,000 swing to win. But 180 yards, 17th hole down at the ranch, July 3rd. And we'll give you the next keyword to qualify right now. You can text in this word, 780-218-9999 on the Fridays, and you guys will call them tomorrow, correct? On the Hello Hockey? We'll wait for Monday, okay. Well, Monday, maybe Tuesday, I guess, given that Monday's the Canada Day. We will have a bit of a free agency special, I do believe, here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Iwanix currently writing the schedule for that. But text in this word right now, 780-218-9999, and you could get into the mix to be one of the last contestants on the $100,000 swing to win. The word today is scramble. Scramble. Trev's going to have it up on the screen for all of you watching. If you are just listening this morning, Scramble. 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 Gage, can you use that word in a sentence? Or
I had scrambled eggs this morning. I played in a Texas scramble once.
Scramble is the word today. You can text in 780-218-9999. Country of origin? We don't need to do that. I miss the old spelling bees, though. We used to run those on the show and everything. And we had the sports spelling bee one time, and somebody had to come in and spell Saltalamacchia or whatever it was. Got to have that going on again. That's an EST. It's got EST written all over it. But text Scramble, 780-218-9999, and we'll pick a lucky texter, and you'll be entered in for the $100,000 swing to win. Right now, we'll do a sports update. We'll come back. Cool bet. That's good. All ahead of Tim Hauraney as we'll dive into the Austrian Grand Prix. It's Lieutenant Eric, Joaquin Gage, YouTube Trev. This is the Nielson Show on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Week 4 in the Canadian Football League kicking off last night. It was the Elks coming up just short again. They fall 24-21 to the Lions, dropping Edmonton's record 2-0-4. The Elks will observe a bye week and return home to take on the Red Blacks July 14. Week 4 continues tonight out east for the Battle of Unbeatens. The 2-0 Argonauts facing and playing host to the 3-0 Montreal Alouettes. Over to the NHL, where the Canucks have agreed to terms with Tyler Myers on a 3-year extension. Carries with it an AAV of $3 million. NHL Awards dished out last night down in Vegas. Ahead of round 1 of the draft, which goes tonight, Oilers will not be on the board until round 2. Oilers CEO of Hockey Ops Jeff Jackson, he addressed the media yesterday as the Oilers made it official and mutually parted ways with GM Ken Holland. On the diamond, the Bellingham Bells take the rubber match over the Riverhawks 6-1 down at Remax. Hawks will have the day off. They'll welcome in the Port Angeles Lefties for a 3-game set beginning tomorrow night. Prospects in their game with the Okotoks Dogs postponed last night. Prospects scheduled to host Weyburn later tonight out in Sherwood Park. George Springer, 2 home runs and 6 ribbies. Jays pound the Yankees 9-2, taking game 1 of that 4-game set from Toronto. Yusei Kikuchi will get the start tonight. First pitch, 5:07. Group stage action continues later today at Copa America. Colombia and Costa Rica at 4. Brazil take on Paraguay at 7. Canada, they'll conclude group stage play tomorrow at 6 when they take on Chile. A draw for the Canadians should be enough to see them into the knockout round. Sports update brought to you by the great staff at Park Mazda and dealer principal Mitch Lewicki, who wants in on this Mike Johnson, Joaquin Gage Hockey Ops.
If you're like me, you like to picture yourself in luxury, even though there's absolutely no way you could afford it. And if you can, well, even better. Thankfully, I picture myself in something that is luxury, but still absolutely affordable, like the all-new Mazda CX-90 from Park Mazda. With the new luxury features like facial recognition settings and quilted detail Napa leather seating, I can pretend to be comfortable with all of my proper settings activated without even touching the button, thanks to Mitch Lewicki and the great staff at Park Mazda. I like to picture Mitch Lewicki as a figure skater. He wears like a white outfit and he does interpretive ice dances to my life's journey.
Park Mazda, your dealer for life in Sherwood Park off Y Road, parkmazda.ca.
Why isn't it playing? I have music playing. I have the What Say You remix playing, and it's not playing. Well, that's a...
Hey, nasty crew, we got the Nielson show flu. Well, there's nothing we can do about it. What say you? Hey, nasty crew, my wife thinks I got better things to do, but there's nothing I can do about it. We're tuning in on TuneIn, we're listening online. We catch up with the podcast when we fall behind. We're texting in the nasty chat, what's on our mind. 780-218-9999. No more interference from corporate interest. To Tutti and Eric and all at the back end. Like Ricciardo and Noodles, Gadget can gauge it. Maybe it's fun but a cool band to make a little wager. We can't wait for the Monday mandate. Shaggy's always on time, Tommy's always late.
Would you like a cup of tea?
Forget about the old place. Hey, we were number 1 in the text race. We don't miss all the commercial breaks, but we sure miss Nickelback today. We wanna hear some hot takes and we wanna hear Renee. Wanna hold the neck up when I wanna kiss away. Beat up the tire fire and remember that name. We love every goal song, but what about the games? Marimella, Rapaport, Dragger, Engineer. It ain't Christmas season, but they sound like reindeer. Button and my cousin and the tales of the North. All about him giving present, nothing go for. What say you? AM Nasty Crew. We got the Nielson show flu. And there's nothing we can do about it. And there's nothing we can do about it. And there's nothing we can do about it.
7:36. You are tuned into the Nielson Show, EdmontonSportsTalk.com, streaming around the world, iHeart and TuneIn radio apps, and as well live on YouTube. You get the full visual and audio experience on YouTube. The nasty chat is humming. Have we had an EST hot mic yet? The mics are always hot, baby. But when you do this, there is a natural reaction not to say things around a microphone that you would normally say. Not to say that once this is off, I turn into a sailor and is this. Actually, I do swear quite a bit. But whenever there's a mic in presence, you just don't swear. I don't know. It's a natural filter that's been built in.
When I first met or saw Dusty at the Canadian Tire, and he asked me to come on the old show.
Yeah.
And I came in early because I wanted just to see, and he was surprised I was there that early, right? But
I remember that.
Do you remember
Did you have that Euro DJ onesie on?
Yeah. I came in all cozy.
Wow.
But I was shocked at in between how you guys it was like sitting at the old Flying J down the street. You guys just trucker mouths, and then just to turn it off right away, and it was funny because then Dusty said he showed me what to do, and I was supposed to go on at what, like 8, like later on, just a quick segment. But then I hit the button and started talking. But I was like, don't swear. Well,
it's different now because now everything's a little more loose, industry standards and everything, and we're doing this on our own. But it's like a shock collar that I'll never be able to remove. Even if I want to swear or say, I'm just, oh.
I remember I was a avid listener to Howard Stern, and he said when he got to satellite, he was, I'm going to let her fly. But it just, once in a while for emphasis, he could, but he found it made him sound unintelligent, I guess.
Well, when you're doing it, when you're laying it on purposely, it's just
you don't want to use it as punctuation.
No. Once again, Lieutenant Eric, Dustin Nielson had the call last night out in Vancouver. Lions and Elks. Joaquin Gage, we appreciate his time. It is a race week, and it is Sobeys and Safeway Liquor Beer of the Week. So he'll never turn on a Friday show. Our Joaquin, it's great.
I was waiting for a future GM Mike Johnson to ask. You're there every Friday, so it's the Beer of the Week day. So I try to get in here.
It's like
I'm here even on the
going into Wayne's now on a Thursday. Oh, it must be summer. Hey, Dusty, on the way. Yeah, you got it. Like this is the time of the season. Right now, Coolbet Canada Hotline today. Very quickly, I know Tim Hauraney will be by shortly. I think we'll move. That's good to the 8 o'clock hour here. We'll have that just after Kind of Easy Trivia and 3 questions to Mindy, just to give the Italian Center shop the love and time they deserve. But Coolbet right now, coolbet.com is where you can go up. I'm looking, and again, I don't place money. You almost, if I make a play, you go against it because that'll be the right answer and that'll be the thing that cashes you. But Winnipeg Blue Bombers, Calgary Stampeders as CFL Week 4 continues tomorrow. But tonight, it's a tough one. Alouettes, Argonauts, 2 undefeated teams out east as the Alouettes 3-0 visiting the 2-0 Argonauts. I like the Alouettes -3 on this one. I'm going to say that. I think that defense and special teams right now are lights out. Cody Fajardo is whipping that ball all over the place, playing fun and fancy-free, no problems there. Playing with house money, too, after just winning the Grey Cup. I mean, they're having fun. Reggie White Jr. back in the fold as well last week, hauled in a couple of touchdowns as well. So I'm loving what the Alouettes are doing right now. A few injuries on both sides of the ball. Austin Mack leaving last year. Doesn't really matter. They're plugging and playing right now. Love what they're doing. Should be a great game for your Friday night football. Nothing short of entertaining. I like the Alouettes, -3 on this one. If you want to join me, head on over to coolbet.com, lay something down on there. Or if you're taking my advice as well, go against me and take the Argonauts +3. But should be a tight one down there in the T-Dot tonight. 2-0 Argonauts, 3-0 Montreal Alouettes. Tim's not in the bullpen yet, is he? Has he made contact yet? No? Just joining now. Perfect. So Tim Hauraney, Formula One insider and analyst. You can check him out online at Tim Hauraney. Does a lot of good stuff. I do believe still stuff. TSN and other ways elsewhere. Pretty much a jack of all trades, a rover, if you will, in the Formula One and racing circuit, really. Anything racing, Tim's the guy on the ground, on the beat. You saw him down in the paddock at the Canadian Grand Prix as well, and he'll get set to join us right now. We do have a race going on, and I like... Gager, I think you and I have discussed kind of off air. I like this type of time with the schedule. I know Formula One's kind of, you got your early season and everybody wants it back. You have a couple of those races out in the Middle East. You go to Australia, that's fun and bright. But I love these back-to-back-to-back weeks out in Europe. You're waking up early. You're getting it going. the Alps, the British one coming up next, all these different countries. But Austrian Grand Prix on the way. We got sprint racing to come later on this morning as well from the Red Bull Ring. And we welcome in Tim Hauraney, Formula One, specifically for this segment, insider and analyst. Tim, welcome back to the show. Appreciate your time, man. What do we know of right now? I mean, this is 7:41 Mountain Time here on this Friday. What have we seen early on from Austria? Teams getting in, setting up. No paddocks on fire this week as to what we saw last week. Where are we at heading into the sprint later this morning, Tim?
Yeah, first of all, good morning, guys. Thanks so much for having me. Really appreciate it. So we've just had free practice, so that's all done and dusted, and we're just waiting now for sprint qualifying. So for a sprint weekend in Formula One, for those who don't know, they're only allowed one practice session to sort of get their bearings before they get into sprint qualifying. But then the cars aren't placed into Parc Fermé after the sprint race, so the teams are allowed to work on the cars afterwards to get them ready for quali, so they can qualify for the big Grand Prix. Obviously, it takes place on the Sunday. As it looks right now, I mean, Verstappen was quickest, but I think Lando Norris was probably going to take the top spot away from him if he hadn't have made the mistake down at, I believe, turn 4 it was, where Norris went off during his final push lap on the soft tire. But it looks like the McLarens are probably the quicker of the bunch. Mercedes looked really quick too, which is positive. Ferrari still looking like they're lacking a bit of pace, and that's sort of weird because they've had a raft of pretty big updates to this car over the last few Grand Prix, and so it's kind of like their updates just aren't matching what they've been seeing in CFD, wind tunnel, and things of that nature. So I think at the moment you probably have about three teams in contention for pole position. Maybe not sprint, but I would say for the Grand Prix.
Tim, last year, I think it was this race, there was quite a few cars going over track limits. What did they do this year? Because I think there was a conscious effort to make sure that doesn't happen as much this year as previous years. What kind of adjustments have they made to the track?
Yeah, exactly. It's a difficult track for them, for the FIA to I would say stop drivers from going over track limits, because they share this track with a bunch of other different racing series, including MotoGP, and MotoGP doesn't tend to really like to have the gravel on the outside of a corner, so on an exit of a turn. But for Formula One, it's starting to get to the point now where last year, I mean, I don't even know how many track limit violations we had at turn 9 and turn 10, or the exits of turn 9 and turn 10, simply from cars just going over the white line. I mean, it was a bit of a joke, to be perfectly honest with you. Like, we were waiting late Sunday to find out what the final results were of the Grand Prix last year, and I mean, for some of us, I was on my way. I was trying to get to the airport to try and catch a flight to get to the UK so I could get ready for the British Grand Prix. And it was a challenging day for sure. So for the drivers, they just want to have it be where they know when they get punished for track limits and not being slapped over the wrist with some sort of a time penalty later on, because they just can't see where the track limit is. So having a natural deterrent like gravel, which they've installed for turns 9 and turns 10 for this weekend, it's a removable gravel bed, and essentially that is definitely a deterrent, because that's going to slow you down. Drivers can't take advantage of that and go quicker. I like the move to do that, and I think the drivers will as well. I mean, we're looking at Formula 3, and you can just see it isn't just a natural deterrent. Drivers are pushing the limits of those two corners, and as soon as you dump a wheel off, you go slower. So I like the fact that the FIA is really listening to the drivers on this one, because it's going to make for a better race weekend as a whole.
Tim Hauraney joining us right now, Formula One analyst, insider, amongst other racing disciplines as well. Tim, you do the Nailing the Apex pod with good pal Adam Wilde. He used to be out here once upon a time, many moons ago. But you guys discussed both the Austrian Grand Prix as well. Figure Daniel Ricciardo, replaced in July, and you have a question mark. I mean, he is a character, and to which I think you and I discussed off air, Gage. I mean, it's nice to kind of have him around, but this is a business, this is a sport. Could we see him being replaced here in July? And if so, how does that kind of all work? Where would he end up, and who's in his seat?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, I think for Daniel, there was some words that Helmut Marko had said about him leading into media day, which was yesterday. Helmut Marko, for those who don't know, he's essentially in charge of the young driver program at Red Bull Racing. He's the guy that found Max Verstappen, threw him into the Formula One car, promoted him, all of those kind of things. So very influential figure within the Red Bull Racing program, and Red Bull Racing obviously owning a big portion of RB, which is the team that Daniel Ricciardo races for now. Ricciardo's had an up and down season. There's no question about it. Yuki Tsunoda has really taken him to task at some races, but Ricciardo's also been able to pull out some pretty impressive performances himself. It's just a consistency factor. For Helmut Marko, he sees RB as a junior program. It's not for someone who's been in 250 Grand Prix like Daniel Ricciardo has. And so he would like to have Liam Lawson take Daniel Ricciardo's seat in July, if not before the summer break, which is going to be at the end of July. And so for Daniel Ricciardo, he has to perform. It has to be more consistency than what he's shown so far at the last two Grand Prix, even though Spain didn't have a good result. I think for Daniel, and talking to him, he's started to feel a lot more comfortable with this car. And I think that's a good sign that we could get more consistency from DR. But at the same time, he's not necessarily worried about what Helmut Marko says, because there's a lot of infighting at Red Bull Racing at the moment between Christian Horner and Helmut Marko, and the fact that Sergio Perez has come back and has signed an extension with Red Bull Racing. I don't necessarily think Helmut Marko had anything to do with that. I think that was a big part of that was done by Christian Horner. Christian really likes Daniel. Laurent Mekis, who's the team principal at RB, really likes Daniel. And so does Peter Baer, who is basically the CEO of RB. He likes Daniel Ricciardo as well. So I don't think Ricciardo's going to lose his seat by the end of the month. What I do think, though, is he does need to pump in some pretty good performances from here to the end of July if he wants to be in that seat for next year. Liam Lawson is a younger driver who they really want to put in that seat, or who Helmut Marko really wants to put in that seat, because, guys, if they don't give Liam Lawson a seat, that driver is allowed to go anywhere else on the grid.
Tim, we saw the great Canadian hope Lance Stroll get extended a few years with Aston Martin. Last year, Aston Martin made huge strides, I felt, at the beginning of the season, kind of spun their wheels in the middle and looked better towards the end. This season, not going as well as I thought they thought it would go.
I don't know if they looked that good at the end of the
season. I'm just talking about Fernando in Mexico with that last lap, looking kind of good. But what's going on with them this year? I know there's constant talk of the nepotism with Lance Stroll. How do you consider this a team that wants to be in the tops of and finishing with podiums? What do you think of the signing, and what does Aston Martin have to do to get back to being competitive like they were at the beginning of the season last year?
Where the team is now has nothing to do with the drivers, not Fernando Alonso or Lance Stroll. Where the team is right now has everything to do with what's happened within their factory and how they've been able to put out upgrades. Even though the upgrades do work on the car, they're not big enough. They're not big enough steps where everyone else is taking these massive leaps, like McLaren showing up to Bahrain, probably the third, maybe fourth fastest team at one point through the first part of the season, and then all of a sudden in Miami, bringing a huge round of upgrades, and now they're the fastest team out there. So when we look at this formula, a big part of it has to do with updating and upgrading the car. And so for the team, that's a little bit where they are. They have a lot going on behind the scenes. They share a wind tunnel with Mercedes. They have to split time with Mercedes. So if Mercedes is saying, hey, we're going to run our car in the wind tunnel 5 days a week, we're going to run it from 6 in the morning till 4 o'clock at night, 5 o'clock at night. That means you guys, Aston Martin, you get to come in 6 p.m. and run your car until 3 in the morning. And so that's really difficult when you're trying to get upgrades to a car as fast as possible. So they have a new wind tunnel that's coming online, but to restructure everything and start working in a new format, and then also at the same time move everything into a brand new state-of-the-art factory, a lot of things get lost in the shuffle, guys. So it's really difficult to always make sure you're following the right development path and things aren't really getting in the way. As for the drivers, I mean, it was a difficult season last year for Lance. There was ups, there was downs. He made mistakes. The team made mistakes. And they all just lost their way, especially the team, in terms of their car performance and where it was going. For this year, he's really showed up and done quite well. I mean, I still am lost on where everybody seems to think he's done bad. He had a crash in Saudi Arabia. The team put the wrong rear wing on his car in Japan. He had the incident with Daniel Ricciardo, but at the moment, he's 5 for 4 with Fernando Alonso in terms of qualifying. So Fernando's outqualified him 5 times, and Lance has outqualified Fernando 4 times. And then looking here in Austria, Lance seems to be the quicker driver so far. So, I mean, look, everything for him, he's been working hard behind the scenes. And I think at the same time, having a teammate like a Fernando Alonso, who is probably one of the greatest, if not the greatest, all-around racing driver we've ever seen, as your teammates, I think that's going to push you, right? It's going to take you and take your driving to different heights and different levels. And I think for Lance, he's starting to answer that call, and he's starting to be able to keep up with them.
Tim, I just wanted to get your thoughts on some depressing hilarity involving Logan Sargeant as of late. I wanted to ask you, what time is it on his career, both with Formula One and just racing in general? And I see the record's been set straight here, as he was, like, it's not even during races. The Barcelona car park, he was accused of nudging somebody, like David Coulthard went off on him or something. That's been proven wrong, but it just seems like he is on an island in a world of his own. And I mean, look, as much as I like kind of, during a race when there's a flag out and you're like, I wonder who could have caused a delay to this race, and then it's Sargent's car sitting in the middle. I do have a bit of laughing to it. There's a bit of hilarity to it. But where are we at in the timeline of his career right now? Because it just seems like, again, we mentioned a bit of light nepotism maybe with Lance Stroll and the whole team dynamic there, but who is Logan Sargeant today, Tim?
I mean, look, I think for Logan, first of all, to address the David Coulthard thing, I think someone should ask David if Logan was actually driving that car, because usually drivers don't drive themselves to the track. Normally the trainers do, and the driver sort of rides along. But, I mean, who knows? For Logan in particular, I mean, he has made steps in his performance. It's just they're not big enough at the moment. Like, he has closed the gap to Alex, but that gap isn't big enough, or he hasn't closed the gap enough. But at the same time, he hasn't had the exact same car as Alex Albon has either. And so as a driver, it's very frustrating when folks in the media just start saying bad things about you when behind the scenes, they don't really necessarily know what's going on. And that's the thing with Formula One. Who is getting all the same equipment? Who's getting all the same stuff? And then we can start judging. Logan finally got the exact same car, the exact same equipment, with a faulty floor in Spain. So again, things are difficult in that nature and difficult for him. Feel bad for the guy, to be honest with you. Second-year driver in F1, thrown in at the deep end, probably wasn't ready to make that jump, but I mean, when your name gets called, you kind of have to you have to go. I mean, you can't say no to an F1 seat. But at the same time, for Logan, next year, I mean, he could either be back at Williams. I mean, James Vallis has told me that he still is keeping that spot. That is still Logan's spot at the moment. They are trying to get Carlos Sainz. If they can't get Carlos Sainz, I mean, it's either going to Valtteri Bottas. But if Logan can start pumping in some performances here over the next 3 to 4 races with the exact same car, with the exact same equipment, I mean, Logan could have a shot at getting back into that seat for next year. It's a very slim chance that he could. And if not, I could see him going somewhere like IndyCar. I mean, he's talked about IndyCar before in the past. His good friend Kyle Kirkwood races there as well, driving for Andretti Autosport. And so that would be, in my opinion, that would be the direction I would take if I were him and I couldn't get that seat at Williams again, or if I couldn't get a reserve driver role somewhere. I'd definitely take a look at IndyCar, because that's just something that every driver that leaves Formula One and they go to IndyCar, they tend to just absolutely love it. So
you already said it, Tim. Probably the most sought after driver, Carlos Sainz. There was rumors of him going to Williams. Where do you see him landing for next year? Because these seats are getting filled up over the next. We saw Pierre Gasly re-up with Alpine. So where does that leave Carlos for next year?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, last weekend, a lot of us were told that contract with Williams was pretty much getting close to being sealed with Carlos Sainz and Williams, and then Flavio Briatore, this is a really long story some listeners may not understand, but anyways, Flavio Briatore returns from the past, joins back up with an F1 team, and then all of a sudden, Carlos is starting to listen to Alpine, the team that Flavio is consulting for. Flavio has spoken with the Carlos Sainz camp. So now we have, instead of 2 teams, well, it was whittled down to 1. We're now back to 3. And it sounds like Carlos has some more decisions to make. But I think, guys, at the end of the day, the driver market, the drivers that are waiting behind him, because Carlos is sort of that cork in the bottle, they're starting to get really frustrated with him, because they need to make their decisions as well, the likes of like Valtteri Bottas and Esteban Ocon. They need to start making their own decisions on where they're going to wind up. And so for Carlos, I expect a decision here. I thought, honestly, well, we all were on pace for him being signed by Spain. And now I don't even know if he's going to sign anything before the British Grand Prix.
Well, Tim, we won't keep you any longer. I know probably a busy morning, and we'll let you get back to previewing and ultimately enjoying the sprint later today. Enjoy Austria over the weekend. Happy Canada Day as well, and thank you for your time. We'll talk again shortly.
Hey, same to you guys. Thanks again for having me. Really appreciate it.
There you go, Tim Hauraney, an encyclopedic knowledge of the racing scene, specifically the Formula One, and we like that for him. You can follow him on Twitter at Tim Hauraney, Hauraney. A great follow, very interactive, and once again, his pod with Adam Wilde, the Nailing the Apex.
Great pod.
Everything you need to know, broken down, explained, and all that. And the Sargeant stuff, too. Look, I got to admit, I am one of those lazy media people that just see him and laugh. How can you not?
Yeah.
But, yeah, you take a job. Maybe it's not the job at the time that gives you the best chance to succeed, but you have to take it nonetheless, and here you are.
I do believe they, there was chassis issues, right? I think that stretches all the way back to Australia, and they put Albon in the car because they only had one car that brought it, so there was that whole thing, and
the look of that is just all very...
It's not very good, right? You want to give yourself your best chance. Yeah, it's interesting to hear him say that they're keeping that seat open for him. But I mean, looking today, he's a second and a half off the pace, right? But again, we don't know what.
There could be a driver in there.
There could be some issues with the setup of that car. No, it's going to be an interesting race. Obviously, we didn't watch practice, but just looking at the time, seeing Lando way behind, but now Tim saying that he did exceed track limits. That would be a sandwiched practice. You don't take too much from it, but a Norris, Verstappen, Piastri sandwich after free practice 1. this sprint qualifying is going to be interesting.
I'll take it on rye, please. The nasty chat's lit up with this, and I love it. Yeah, it's a little racing. It's the summer months. Let's talk some sports there. Jen Cool, to which, is it your birthday, Jen? Did I read that right on the nasty chat? Sunday. Last Sunday. Oh, well, happy belated. I feel like we did. Yeah.
You don't hear.
She says Sargeant is terrible and should have been gone last year. We love that. Sheldon S. follows up. Sainz will be hanging out with dad and girlfriend on TikTok next year. So maybe that's the best place for him. Nas26 says Michael Schumacher, number 1. And Box Pounder says great lap, Tim. Yes, P1 for Tim, and we appreciate his time as always. And you and I will be... And YouTube Trev will have the sprint down a little later after a Sobeys Liquor Beer of the Week. Always fun on a Friday from the Red Bull Ring.
I love the questions posed by a young YouTube Trev.
Well, it's very innocent. It's just he's and
he's getting into
why is this? Why is that? And Babbage Stash as well had a text fly in. Sargeant out. Bring back Latifi. Latifi at the gates.
Latifi is in business school in Oxford, I think, is what I last read.
I love it. You go from operating a highly tuned.
You're more likely to see him as a team principal.
Probably, employing Lance Stroll somewhere down the line, maybe a Canadiana team. Dave says, love this segment. Great segment. Love having Tim on. Thanks. That comes in from Red. Yeah, we like Tim's time too. He's brilliant at what he does, and he knows way more than we do. So anytime you can have him on and pick his brain about the circuit is a good thing.
He invited us to the Montreal Grand Prix one year.
Well, it was like
sleep
COVID
on
times.
the floor.
The thing about Tim is I think he look, the money and everything, making that work and getting away from our jobs and everything. But he's like, yeah.
And
I think he had like the rooms, like everything was like kind of like, I was like, oh, I feel bad, but we'll have to either have him out, I don't know, Rad Torque or whatever. But I know, obviously during the Canadian Grand Prix, like he's down there full access. I mean, so if we ever need, he'll be there. If you ever need to an accommodation or a couch, Tim's got you.
That'd be great.
Love it.
I just want the smock.
I just want to walk around, like the high life of walking around the paddocks and everything. But yes, we will move on here. Hour number 3, right around the bend. Kind of easy trivia, 3 questions too many, which right now we do need a contestant for kind of easy trivia. Joaquin Gage, I do believe, has the questions. You know they'll be easy. He's basically sending you to Mr. Mike's right now, but $25 on the line to Mr. Mike's. You need 3 out of 5. So if you want to play, text in right now. I want to play. 780-218-9999 is the number to text. It is the Paris Jewelers inbox, but text in, I want to play. And address Trev in any way you want, and he will pick somebody at random from the Paris Jewelers inbox. Once again, 780-218-9999. Kind of easy trivia. $25 to Mr. Mike's is on the line. We'll do a little 3 questions too many. That's good for the Italian Center Shop and a Sobeys and Safeway Liquor Beer of the Week all on the way as well. 8:03, it is the Nielsen Show. Lieutenant Eric Joaquin Gage, YouTube Trev. Let's get to a sports update for Claiborne Services. The Edmonton Elks coming up just short again as they drop to 0-4 in the season, falling 24-21 to the BC Lions out in Vancouver. Sean White with the 42-yard field goal in the dying seconds. That was your difference. The club enter a bye week. They'll be back home to take on the Red Blacks July 14th. Week 4 continues in the Canadian Football League this evening. Out east, it's a battle of unbeatens as the 2-0 Argonauts play host to the 3-0 Montreal Alouettes. NHL Awards dished out last night down in Vegas ahead of round 1 of the draft, which goes tonight. The Oilers not scheduled to pick until round 2. Oilers CEO of Hockey Ops Jeff Jackson addressing the media yesterday as the Oilers made it official and mutually parted ways with GM Ken Holland. Elsewhere, the Canucks, they've agreed to terms with defenseman Tyler Myers on a 3-year extension with an AAV of $3 million. On the Diamond, the Bellingham Bells take the rubber match over the Riverhawks 6-1 down at Remax. Hawks have the day off. They'll welcome in the Port Angeles Lefties for a 3-game set beginning tomorrow night. Prospects and Okotoks Dogs, that game was postponed last night. The Prospects are scheduled to host the Weyburn Beavers later tonight out in Sherwood Park. George Springer, the difference. He had 2 home runs and 6 ribbies as the Jays pound the Yankees 9-2 from Toronto, taking game 1 of that 4-game set. Yusei Kikuchi will get the nod tonight. First pitch, 5:07. Copa America group stage action continues tonight. Colombia and Costa Rica at 4, followed by Brazil and Paraguay at 7. Canada will round out group stage play tomorrow at 6 against Chile, with the Canadians needing a draw to advance to the knockout round. Take your career to the next level with Claiborne Services. They're hiring all positions, including journeyman bricklayers and apprentices of all levels. Taking advantage of their outstanding mentorship program and work with peace of mind, knowing they are an industry leader in safety. For more, visit www.claiborneservices.com or make it easy and call Jeff 780-910-6728.
The Nielson Show with Dustin Nielson and Lieutenant Eric on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
Oh yeah, 806, Nielson Show, EdmontonSportsTalk.com, streaming live around the world. TuneIn Radio app, iHeartRadio app, and of course the audio and visual put together on YouTube, Edmonton Sports Talk on YouTube. As we approach 10,000 subscribers, if you haven't already, please sub to the channel. You won't miss out on anything going on. And if you are residing in there this morning, hit the thumbs up, give us a like. Do it for Dusty, do it for Gager, do it for Logan Sargeant, do it for whomever you want. But hit the like, hit the thumbs up, helps the algorithm greatly. Lieutenant Eric Joaquin Gage in for Dustin Nielsen today, and YTT keeping it locked down behind the monitors. Looks like a pretty nice day, heading into a pretty nice weekend as well. Canada long one. If you got any plans, let us know. 780-218-9999. Probably will pop up in 3 questions too many as well, but if you have any questions, text them in. You know how we like to do when there's guests in the room. Maybe you want to pick Gager's brain or a question directed to YTT. Have your say. 780-218-9999. 11 degrees in Edmonton. Sun's up. Looks pretty dry out there. I'm looking through the blinds. I see some reflections off some vehicles. Looks bright. 21 for a high today, mainly sunny. 24 for Saturday, and mainly sunny once again. So a nice kickoff to your Canada Day long one. And as mentioned earlier, we might have some free agent frenzy type of programming going on Canada Day here on EST. But keep it locked on EST for all the latest and everything going on. This hour, we do have Sobeys and Safeway Liquor Beer of the Week coming up midway through the hour. We will get to a little, that's good for the Italian Center shop. Probably a great place to frequent if you're looking for some munchies and bites for Canada Day long weekend. They'll get you set up, but we'll have more on that coming up later on. Gager's got the questions cobbled. I love it. Binder, notebook, pen. That's it. Here we go. Whatever. He's going to be reading these off the pen and paper. He'll have the questions today for our next lucky contestant. Playing for Mr. Mike's Steakhouse Casual. $25 to Mr. Mike's will be on the line right now. Mr. Mike's, you can get there, get the burger, the steak. The menu is. I heard Maddie say too. He doesn't like a big menu because it's what do you do? What do you perfect? They do have a pretty large menu, but everything there is the steak, very descriptive. Oh, we'll pan fry it. So everything there they do extremely well, but a variety of options, steak, burgers, all that stuff. Great place to go and eat, and $25 on the line right now to Mr. Mike's. Who do we got on the line today, Trev?
Today we have Vaughn on the line.
Vaughn. Mo Vaughn? I think we had Vaughn on before once upon a time. Vaughn, how you doing today, man?
I'm good. You?
I can't complain. Have you played Kind Easy Trivia before?
Quite a few times, actually, yeah.
Love it. Are you still undefeated, kind of trying to keep that record perfect?
Yeah, undefeated. Some are better than others, but still undefeated.
That's okay. A win's a win. You just heard Joaquin Gage has the questions for you this morning. All you need is 3 out of 5. Should be quite simple. I'll start the ticker after he reads question number 1. Vaughn, if you're good to go, blink twice and we'll get this thing going.
Vaughn, if you're good as the gear that I used to wear bearing your name, you'll do all right today. First question.
All right.
Did the Elks win yesterday?
No.
What event is going on at the Las Vegas Sphere tonight?
NHL draft.
How many games have the Elks won?
0.
What former Elks sealed the deal for the BC Lions yesterday?
Shawn White.
What day is it today?
Friday.
You got it.
5 out of 5, baby.
You feel shame, you know.
We're going streaking.
and then you get free. So what do you say? You cut me some friggin' slack.
2-2 coming over to get it. Mike Brown, they could go here. They could go. There they go. They could go. Here they go.
Evidently, people weren't listening.
Brown's got the right.
The Danish Moss. Excuse me.
But don't you see? That's what she was there for. That was the plan.
Here comes Ruck around Williams with Lazar in front. Lazar to the front of the goal. Ruck, wait.
I'm sorry.
Score!
I'm not into the tie business. This isn't soccer.
Dylan Ruck, absolute shelf as he held off the defender with his right arm, cut back and flipped it. Beautiful goal. It's 2-1 Edmonton.
By the time this case gets to trial, he'll be nothing more than a shrunken head.
Congratulations, you're human.
Everly back of the net, PRV. PRV tries to jam it in and he scores.
Shuck it long.
Magnus PRV from behind the goal line sneaks one by Backstrom and the game is tied at 1.
And shuck it hard.
And the hockey stuff, I'm sorry. I'm not buying it.
Now they got him.
I'm sorry.
Welcome back. Yeah.
If you're working, stop everything. Customers will understand. Jane has come back for another crack at Kind of Easy Trivia. How many goals did the Oilers score last night?
0.
All right! What team does Evgeny Malkin play on?
The Nashville Predators.
Wow. What sport does Skip Kevin Martin play?
Hockey.
That is incorrect.
Name the sport where someone can get a birdie.
This is a hard knock.
Tennis.
That is ridiculous.
The Oilers play the Predators tonight in what city?
In Nashville.
2.
No way.
You only got 2.
But if you don't believe your country should come before yourself, you can better serve your country by living somewhere else. Whereby.
Oh, Jane, but you are a legend for the rest of life.
A Club Beat Loop remix from the Vault, and thank you to Vaughn for unlocking it with his big 5 out of 5 win this morning. I had not known that kind of lines up with Canada Day, a little Stomp and Tom at the end there.
Yeah.
And Jane as well, who famously won a bike on the old station once upon a time. Not really up on her sports knowledge. She loved a good prize, our Jane, but not so much kind of answering the questions and knowing what was going on from time to time. But man, that was a great throwback from the Vault there in a Club Beat Loop.
Vaughn is obviously a nasty, but CFL.
I love it.
Yeah,
love
he
it.
knew. Like I was worried about the Sean White, but it encouraged me because you mentioned his name in the sports update. You know, he was a big part yesterday.
Well,
so
yeah.
obviously watched the game with the sullen no.
The tone in his voice, like this is going to cut deep. Like he's going to answer him, but it's going to hurt a lot.
Oh, that was good.
Sean White as well, I think, pictured with Morley Scott at Ched yesterday, losing a bet Canucks Oilers series. So Whitey was decked out in some Oilers gear prior to kickoff last night down at BC Play. Good guy. We were talking too. Like it's a shame too that he's kind of not just around here. The community.
I know.
He loved popping in on the hangout.
Yeah.
You would be able to drag him out of here, right? Like
yeah.
So
he'd be like, "Oh, I got to go to practice."
Still love Whitey. I make mention to pick him every year on the fantasy.
Yeah.
He is my kicker for life. He's the man.
They said he's automatic.
He is Robo right now,
Yeah.
so he's doing it well at this stage of his career. So,
Perfect.
Congrats to Vaughn. Vaughn, swing on by. $25 to Mr. Mike's is waiting for you here at the station. 8:13. We'll get into 3 questions too many right now. It's brought to you as always by the great staff at Park Mazda and dealer principal Mitch Lewicki, who loves free agent season, especially with the car dealerships. Park Mazda, your dealer for life. Well, you may know this, but car dealerships as well have their own free agency, where if you don't have your employees locked down to certain deals, everybody just pops up and you can kind of go to different dealerships. So there might be Mitch's, it's busy season for him as well. But if you are interested in hopping in a new Mazda, check them out today, parkmazda.ca, or visit them in person out in the park. Park Mazda, your dealer for life, Sherwood Park. 780-218-9999. If you have any questions for 3 questions too many, as mentioned, it is nice to sometimes ask our guests here instead of Dustin Nielson something, or even YouTube Trev, if you'd like to know what he's going on in his life, is it's always a little interesting. But 780-218-9999 or in the nasty chat as well. Joaquin, first off, where can people follow you on the socials, please? You don't just come in here every once in a while and watch racing and have a few drinks. You do other things.
No, it's financial planning is in full swing, especially after this Oilers run, try to get
yes.
Budgeting is a huge thing this summer. So if you're looking for any help with that, I've done a couple shorts on the YouTube channel. If you go to the K4 Financial YouTube channel, you can see some of the things there. Interesting, great video by the CEO Kent Tilley regarding annuities. I'm doing some things with some insured annuities. I know it's all technical speak, but quite if you're getting close to retirement, looking at different avenues of how to kind of construct that monthly income, we're your guys.
But you break it down in a way that the common person, I think, then that you do bridge a bit of a gap. You're not a buttoned up accountant for trade.
Some of these things might seem elementary to me, but trying to explain them in a fashion that people can easily take in all that information is something. Kent does a wonderful job. I'm learning a lot of how to kind of convey the financial tips to people. So, but he's a master at it.
Learning from the masters. You'll get your belt one of these days, hey?
I'll be able to cut that long tail off and remove the Padawan status.
A PRV drop is all the appropriate on draft day. Nice grab for a dance party Friday LTE. Yeah, and I didn't. I just picked that Club Beat loop on random, but little Magnus PRV as well doesn't hurt heading into draft weekend. Trev, where can people, the good folks listening and watching, can find you online and in other parts as well? Not home address or whatever with your roommates, but...
It's tough to follow up on Gager there, but I'm YouTube Trev. You can follow me at
You'll give financial advice if people ask.
_Trev. What do? I upload every now and then just what I'm doing. I got a donaire last week. That was cool.
From where?
Prime time. Yeah, so it was okay. But follow the socials. I would appreciate it. That'd be awesome.
Crap, I think I got to give Big Maple a percentage now. He just he came up with a great managing your cap. Walk in with Gage. Thank you, Big Maple. Yeah, that's
put it on the billboard. Put it on the billboard.
That's solid, buddy. That is solid.
Well, I guess a new associate here in Big Maple. You can kind of cutting ponytails all over.
I'm stealing it. I'm sorry.
Why not? Well, hey, it's free reign. There's no copyrighted or anything. Question one, and we'll get into the business right now and probably end this with a little bit of fun and frivolity. Jack Campbell, boys, what happens with him? And this is a time for you to just kind of, if you want, kind of, and play along, please. Nasty chat or texting 780-218-9999. We talked a little earlier as we left Mike Johnson. No buyout yet. The window is open. However, the Oilers are still figuring things out. And what we heard from 2J yesterday is, yes, things are happening, and we'll get to them as they go. So to me and the listener, it feels like they have everything under control. But for a frustrated fan out there, it was buying out Jack Campbell before the window opened, and you'd be in the queue with that move. So it hasn't happened yet. To which a few online, Elliot Friedman et al., suggesting that perhaps, since there hasn't been a buyout yet, there could be a trade in the works. But boys, what do you think ultimately happens with Jack Campbell, or even the third option that he somehow finds his way back to some sort of relevance here? Which
I think I talked about that a little bit on Two Guys, of him actually remaining with the team. But again, this is when posed the question, and I forget who did it yesterday to Jeff Jackson. Said there's things in motion. We've thought about that avenue. I wonder, Eric, if this is more they're waiting for the new GM to come in and see where his...
So there's no decision made yet. You bring in and that's the decision made from that GM. I wonder if there's an overlying thought, and then he comes in and let's talk to him. And
but this would be weird to me, waiting for someone to make that decision, right?
Yeah.
That decision should be... The only reason that decision isn't made now with the buyout is the fact that there might be something there. So there's undercurrents of a deal being made with Jack Campbell for something else somewhere. There has to be. Or I think they would have used the window to buy him out.
Yeah. Trev, any thoughts on this? I mean, not to maybe what you would do, or where you see it's going.
What I want to happen is different from what I think is going to happen. I do not want them to buy out another player. I mean, Tommy and I were talking about it. It's just we're just finishing, or the Oilers are just with Benoit Pouliot. It's just one after another, and it's just not a good look. And it might help you now, but in the long run, I just hate that dead cap. Like Mike Johnson said it. Like I could not agree more with him on that. Do I think? But I think the Oilers do come up short. I think they're going to try potentially to make a trade. I think that's what they'd like to do. That's what they'd probably prefer. That's what I would do. but you'd have to sell it. Like you'd have to give, like a pick. You'd have to.
The thing that like if you look at the Oilers last year, Skinner not great start, Campbell a little bit better, but same type of thing. Calvin Pickard, the Oilers made sure that they had a serviceable NHL guy in the minors. That's essentially what Jack Campbell is, right? If things completely fall off, and this is what I said yesterday, if at least you have a guy
and who played well in the minors.
Who's played in the NHL and is capable of winning some games if things go right into the pooper. And you also have a guy that has a lot of NHL experience, played in Game 7s, mentoring your young guy in the minors. So it's not the worst situation to have him. It's not a full cap hit. It's a little over the $3 million. But, I mean, that's what you got to look at, too. If you're retaining, is it apples for apples? It doesn't make a difference. If you're not getting rid of that full $5 million of cap space, then there's some retention there, I don't even know if it makes sense. I think you're better suited to have that safety valve of Jack Campbell in the minors just in case injuries happen for the big club.
And again, he's been playing decent in the that's me, sorry boys, decent in, like when he was sent down. It's not like it all collapsed.
No,
there. He brought back his.
I mean,
game,
he
so struggled for,
but I don't know how much of that was. Every goalie looks bad when they just show the goals against, right?
Yeah.
They don't show the saves. They show the highlights usually of the goals against. So, that's. If it's not the full boat, I don't think it serves you well because you've actually lost something that can help you if things go awry.
They can't wait for a new GM to decide on a Campbell buyout as the buyout window closes on Sunday. Yes, but if something falls into place here, if they get it, then they can do that prior to Sunday. Hampton Steve chimes in. I do wonder, and Jeff Jackson made mention that teams are doing things now and they couldn't talk to people during the run and everything. I do wonder where his mind might go on a potential GM or candidate or who's out there. I mean, I know in this market over the years it's been old boys club air quotes mantra type of deal, and I don't think that's been like a mission objective from the club, but it's just how it's happened. I do wonder now, though, with Tujay in there and his thick-rimmed glasses, and people kind of see this as maybe, we may get a little more analytical now, or we may go a little more youth side to the management roles or something like that. I don't know. Do you have any sniff of where this might go, or any thoughts on whom might be the name, or anything such as that? Any ideas, or
I really
you see anybody in the shop window that you like? I mean,
I think it's Magic Mike. That's who I'm going with.
I'd take him in a heartbeat. I think what he outlined today, and he was very direct with it. Too.
Oh, I know.
No dead cap.
Well, he's already got the plan. That's what's amazing.
Absolutely. Question number 2: Canada Day weekend, boys. One good Canada Day story, or your plans usually for a Canada Day, in which what will you be doing this year? I know Trev here, city living. I mean, we might have some free agent frenzy as well on Monday, but it is a long weekend. Weekend as a whole, it falls on the Monday. Riverhawks will be playing a couple of afternoon games, both on holiday Monday and Sunday, to which rumors of the Nielson clan heading out Sunday afternoon. I myself might partake, but Canada Day plans have passed, end of present here, boys. What do we got in terms of memory? I mean, I'm going to the beer gardens was the best for me out in Saskatoon, Diefenbaker Park, huge park, just beer garden tents. You didn't really do anything.
Yeah.
You just went out there. I mean, they had a couple of crappy bands, like nobody really, but you sit in the beer garden tent all day long and drink the beer. I mean, that's what better way to celebrate your country than that, hey?
Yeah. What do you got, Trev? What's the plan?
Yeah, I don't know the plan this year, but in previous years, Canada Day was actually that's something that hits home. Honestly, those memories are just I cherish. Growing up, just it was big for the family. We'd always get together in Lethbridge. Family from Calgary, they'd come down, and just all over. We'd go to Henderson Park. That's kind of where you'd get together if you're in Lethbridge.
They had a big cake.
Yeah. Essentially, we'd have a huge picnic. It was pretty sweet. We play games. I was a kid, obviously, and it was always. I always looked forward to Canada Day. It was so much fun for me. And then as I got older, obviously, it became more fun, which was pretty sweet. But yeah, so I honestly don't. I think I worked. I don't know what I did last year for Canada Day here in Edmonton, but. I don't have any plans, so I don't know.
There is that. You mentioned the timeline, though. You're young, before you're of age, And then it's like,
It's just fun.
It's fun. But then you get of age, and then it's really fun. But then you also get of an age where now you're kind of like, now I have a job, and now I go, like, you can't just, it does change it. It was actually the first time, Canada Day was the first time I ever pissed into a bottle.
Oh.
Well, they used to have fireworks at Diefenbaker Park, right? And you'd go there. My mom took it. My brother and I we were very young. You go to this firework display and you park in this parking lot with thousands of other cars. Fireworks are done and everybody tries to leave at once. And so here I am with my child bladder. Mom, I got to go to the bathroom. Go in the bottle. So there I went in the bottle in the back seat. First time ever pissing into a bottle, which was, I'll never forget that. I can't remember which Canada Day was, but that my big Canada Day memory was going to the bathroom in a plastic bottle.
It marks...
Further up.
It marks the day that my wife won the lottery.
What?
She locked this love down,
Oh, God,
and we got married on Canada Day.
You got married?
So she's this is just marks the anniversary of her winning the lottery, and
happy anniversary.
Thank you.
Do you want to share the number, or because there's a certain gift pertaining to each year, correct? You don't have to if you don't want to.
Every year it's wood, baby.
Okay. My parents celebrate on the 4th of July. My dad says it's the day America gained its independence and the day I lost mine. That's his big... I think he set it up for that day just to use that joke. But regardless, no, I hope everybody has a good Canada Day. If you're sharing, if you got some big plans, share them with us. We'll read them. Wheels chimes in. I always go looking for cake on Canada Day. One year I had cake thrown in my face.
Oh, that's
the innocence of a thief, just wheeling out there and looking for some free cake, and then one year it was thrown in his face. He'll take it though, I'm sure. He's a fun guy there. My best friend married his wife on Canada Day too, so there would always be fireworks. LOL. Yeah, I mean the jokes just write themselves.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, there's going to be fireworks, and just the eye roll of my wife.
Well, sure. You heard this one before.
Yeah.
Every single year. Right? And it won't be the last time LT pisses in a bottle. No, I think I had before, but again, it's just one of those childhood memories, right? Before I was of age, doing those things. My best friend married his wife on. Yeah, okay, we got that from Big Maple. Yeah, if you have any plans, let us know what's going on in the town. Is there any dragon boat races on the river or anything like that? Again, once I said Riverhawks 2 matinees this weekend, both Sunday and Canada Day 105. The Hawks will kick off that 3-game set with the Lefties tomorrow at 7:05. And again, the temperature's looking pretty good tomorrow, 24 degrees and sunshine. So if you are heading out, Riverhawks tomorrow night down at Remax should be a good time to kick off the Canada Day weekend. And question number 3 for today. What are we looking at here?
Nick, I got one here.
Okay, send it to me.
Nick Cousins' question, do the Oilers need to replace Perry with a similar player that skates a little faster on the cheap?
Yeah, I think too, whoever this new GM may or may not be, looking for those value deals from other teams on the young side. I think that's something that the Holland era, if you will, was left lacking at.
Yeah, he liked a veteran,
And I understand his reasoning
but
for
that's what brought him success before, right? So, but that was also without a cap.
Sure, yeah, times have changed, and we all know. But Nick, the young, the cheap, the fat. Sports in general, really. That's how I kind of want to build things and get going. But
you try to look for those players with teams that have an abundance of a certain position. Maybe if you're looking at, obviously a forward that you would be looking for, someone that's probably could play in their top 6, but just doesn't get that chance just because of the log jam ahead of them. I look back to the Vegas Golden Knights did a masterful job during the expansion draft of taking those players that were on the cusp, or just couldn't get it. Like they took all those guys and just built a very strong team like that. And I think that's what kind of the Oilers should look, who those players are with the same type. I don't think you're going to get a Corey Perry type of agitator, with that kind of stuff. Obviously, yeah, you want Corey Perry 10 years ago, but that's going to cost.
Yeah. But again, I think, again, we talked about Holland, and we're not going to disgrace him as he leaves here. Done a lot of good things for us. But there's one point. I think it's that, as you mentioned, that more elderness in bringing in those, as opposed to getting those good deals and the speed and the
Corey
youth
Perry
and the-
kind of fell into his lap too a little
Well,
bit.
the Kane thing as well. I mean,
Yeah.
all those things kind of
Yeah.
just presented themselves, and you take them. But you want to see somebody go out there hunting and getting those prize picks.
Exactly.
And I did misspeak here. The Riverhawks Holiday Monday will be at 7:05, as I was correctly pointed out. The fireworks as well. I thought Canada Day would be a matinee, as it was a day off type of thing, but no. 7:05 first pitch, Canada Day Monday, with fireworks after the Sundays
that'd be
as
good.
usual. Yeah. Sundays as usual, though, the 105 matinee. So if you plan on heading out, my error there. That does it for 3 questions too many. It's brought to you by the great staff at Park Mazda once again. We will get into a little that's good right now. No, let's get to a sports update. We'll come back with that's good. We got the Brewers. Have they checked in yet, Trev? So we'll have a Sobeys and Safeway Liquor Beer of the Week on the way as well via video link. So that'll be coming up. Sports update. That's good. And we'll be drinking some, not beer today. Stay tuned to find out what we got pouring down our throats a little later on. Week 4 of the Canadian Football League continues tonight out east. It's a battle of unbeatens. The 2-0 Argonauts playing host to the 3-0 Alouettes. Last night it was Sean White hitting a 42-yarder in the dying seconds as the Elks coming up just short again. They fall 24-21 to the Lions, dropping Edmonton to 0-4. The club will enter a bye week. They're back home to host the Red Blacks July 14th. NHL Awards dished out last night in Vegas ahead of round 1 of the draft, which will go later on this evening. Oilers not on the board until round 2. Canucks, meanwhile, they've agreed to terms with defenseman Tyler Myers on a 3-year extension. Carries with it an AAV of $3 million. Over to baseball, the Bellingham Bells take the rubber match over the Riverhawks 6-1 down at Remax last night. Hawks have the day off. They'll welcome in Port Angeles for a 3-game set beginning tomorrow evening. Prospects and Okotoks Dogs postponed last night. The Prospects are back in action out in Sherwood Park this evening, when they're scheduled to host the Weyburn Beavers. Blue Jays taking game 1 of a 4-game set from the Yankees 9-2 last night. Game 2 tonight, Yusei Kikuchi starts. First pitch 5:07 from the T-Dot. Group stage action continuing at the Copa America tournament later today. Costa Rica and Colombia at 4. Brazil take on Paraguay at 7. Canada will need a draw to advance to the knockout stage as they take on Chile to wrap up group stage action tomorrow at 6. Sports update for Claiborne Services. Take your career to the next level with Claiborne Services. They are hiring all positions, including journeyman bricklayers and apprentices of all levels. Take advantage of their outstanding mentorship program and work with peace of mind knowing they are an industry leader in safety. For more, visit www.claiborneservices.com or make it easy and give Jeff a call, 780-910-6728.
Featuring Lieutenant Eric. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk.
.833, it is the Nielson Show. Lieutenant Eric, Joaquin Gage with you. YouTube Trev behind the monitors. We're coming to you live from the South Fort Chevrolet, well, presented by South Fort Chevrolet. You can check them out, www.southfortchev.com. 15% off accessories for your new ride right now at South Fort Chev out in Fort Saskatchewan. Closer than you think since 1983. Quick trip out there. Go see Daniel and his team at South Fort Chev. Tell them Dusty or EST sent you. Once again, 15% off accessories for your new ride, www.southfortchev.com. And I also should mention my mistake again. I got papers, I got flyers here. It's something else, but Big Mama's and Papa's Pizzeria as well. If you're looking to celebrate Canada Day with a bang, I mean, we talked about the big cake. One of Canada Day, you go to any Canada Day party, coast to coast to coast, they always got the big cake.
Yeah.
But get the big pizza from Big Mama's and Papa's Pizzeria for your Canada Day. Start a new tradition. BMPP, the real pizzeria restaurant, not just a delivery chain. Authentic Italian cuisine, their made-in-house pizza dough, traditional tomato sauce, and fresh toppings. Each pizza cooked to perfection. You can check them out today. Walk in, 12848 97th Street. Order online, www.bmpp.ca, or give them a call, 587-746-0550. And once again, if you don't have the big cake for your Canada Day celebrations, get the big pizza pie from Big Mama's and Papa's Pizzeria. They make the big ones. You saw us have it in here in studio. Couldn't even fit it through the door. They had to kind of tilt it like that. So Big Mama's and Papa's, check them out for a new Canada Day tradition this weekend, and they can give you the big pie.
I was always excited because I came across this accidentally, but Big Mama's and Papa's was going in on the south side. I saw a banner, and I was like, what? Because I knew the original location, and then on further inspection, I was like, oh, okay, but they're building it. But now I'm just looking again, and I'm not sure if this is correct. It says closed, but it says open at 11 a.m., 5572 Windermere Road, Big Mama's and Papa's Pizzeria. A little less distance to me to get that 56-incher.
I'm just out of the range to order from the comfort of my home.
Yeah.
So I have to go see them. But when you go in, they got the personal slices cut into like threes. Like it's one big slice cut into three. Surveyor Brett had it one day. Looks at me like it looks like a New York style, like pizza, real pizza, that type of thing, as it says in the line.
Okay.
Yeah, more locations the merrier for them, I would say. I mean, keep popping them up so I can order in from the comfort of my home.
I want the egg boat one. I think that's
That's
what I'm doing. So I'll see you today.
Great website as well. Check them out online. And if you want to order one of those big pies, get at them a little early so they have the time. It's a specialty order. So
they have the boxes too, like
the boxes and then the bag to carry it in. That's all custom ordered. Like I don't know who makes that
crazy.
stuff.
Crazy. It's awesome.
If anything, it's for it's the gag of it all. Like check them out today. Big Mama's and Papa's Pizzeria. Maybe a new Canada Day tradition for you and yours. Speaking of, though, good food, and we'll get into very quickly, that's good for the Italian Center shop. You're loading up on pizza. You can load up on pizza from there as well as the Spinelli Paninos, the house-made baguette topped with olive oil, oregano, roasted red pepper spread, the mortadella, capicola, Genoa salami, and provolone. I do believe the mild and the hot have a different slice and cut of meat in them as well. But mild or hot, get those panino sandwiches. A great take. You can put them in your sack, put them in your bag, whatever party you're going to in the park or whatever, cut them up and just munch on those sandwiches throughout the day. So check out the Italian Center shop. That's good. Gager, what in your world, both sports or otherwise, I know, hey, anniversary weekend for you, so what's sticking out for you? That's good in your world right now.
Well, just my daughter getting ready to partake in a pretty cool little dance event going to Los Angeles.
LA is
so
this isn't going out to Thorsby for crying out loud.
My wife is going down with her to get her all set up, staying on UCLA campus for 2 weeks.
Go Bruins!
So, yeah, it's I mean, your little things are spreading their wings and flying soon. So it's kind of cool, and of course, it wouldn't be. This is always a kind of a cool weekend. I met my wife kind of indirectly. Canada Day is when we actually started dating, and then got married on Canada Day too. So it's it'll be a good weekend. We'll hopefully have some time just to. Our kids are at that age where they don't care. So we can kind of just go to our local dive and have a beer, and
you'll care from far away.
Yeah.
Congrats and good luck to her as well, because LA. I mean, that's Again, that's not just a trip, an overnighter in a hotel with a water slide or anything like that. This is your big time. So that's good for Italian Center Shop, and we wish her good luck and congrats as well. Trev, is there anything making you that's good? I know it's been a rough week. Things will turn around, though. You're slowly climbing out of the muck, right?
Yeah, no, but you move on, right? So I think for me, now that the hockey season's done, it's summer's here, right? I get my nights off. Obviously, I love doing pre and post, but it will be nice to hit the links to actually go golf. Haven't been out this year yet.
More time with Zach.
Yeah, more time with Zach. I'm looking forward to that. But just being outside and just having the nights off, just going and disc golf, regular golf, kicking the ball, just being outside, being active, and really just getting to see the city. I was away pretty well all last summer, so I'm looking forward to the summer. Get to go to a Riverhawks game as well.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, so I'll be, and then, tailgating, Elks.
Golf tournament.
Yeah,
summer's beautiful, man.
Yeah, so
before
I'm just,
you know it, you'll be in here at nights with Tommy, and I'll sprinkle in some Gager once in a while. But enjoy the summer, because it's great. Can I tell this one story that I had?
Let's go.
This was a few years ago, and it was at Century Grill on Calgary Trail. Me and a couple buddies drinking some suds. And there was a guy from Texas, and big Texas accent.
Okay.
And his kind of business partners left, and we were laughing and having a good time. He asked to join us, and I said, "Yeah, sure." And it was around this time, and we sat out drinking beers all night, and the sun was at its zenith. At 11 o'clock, and he was just, "This is the best place ever. I'm moving here. The sun goes down at 6 o'clock. You guys are great. This is amazing. I can't wait to go to a hockey game. All these things. I go, cool your jets a little bit. The winter's a little different here, but I don't know if he eventually moved here or not. But what I'm saying is, everyone get out. I know this has been a tough week. Enjoy your summer, because I've been to a lot of places. Edmonton is one of the best places you can be for those summer months. Great weather, lots of light. Spend it with your families. Get outside, because we don't get to do it.
Yeah,
365.
And especially this one being much shorter than the previous, where we packed it all in mid-April or whatever.
We're going to be right back at it,
right?
Yeah.
Casino dealer Jay, YTT. Do they still have those beer bats there? I assume that the Riverhawks, they had the beer bats at the Riverhawks games. You bet. They got a little top too that you can screw on now for
I got mine.
Easy carrying around. Yeah. The first year they didn't, and that was a bit of a mess. But yeah, you get whatever you want in those, like pop beer, whatever. I mean, you're calling the shots there.
Aperol Spritz,
and Aperol Spritz, of course. Yes. So yeah, maybe we'll see people down to the Riverhawks, and again, Stingers as well. They're back on the court as well. We shouldn't worry about our successful basketball team here in the city, who have been playing quite well this season. Stingers, they're on the road. Right. They visit Vancouver tomorrow. That's an 8:30 tip-off, and I do believe we'll be carrying that for you here on Edmonton Sports Talk. The Stingers are back home Canada Day afternoon. So here's what we're talking about here, and it's a shame FC Edmonton isn't still around, because you could do that 3-team stack for a full day. But the Stingers take on the Saskatchewan Rattlers Canada Day Monday, 1 o'clock tip-off down at the hangar. Once that's done, wash your face, comb your hair, head on over to Remax, and check out the Riverhawks and their series conclusion with Port Angeles and the fireworks to follow. So a pretty good Canada Day Monday there. So yes, the Stingers as well. I mean, there's just lots of stuff to check out during the summer months, and it's going to be great. But it goes, as you mentioned, very fast, very quick. It's funny, the guy, the 365 days of the year, he's there for like the solstice, like the few days. The sun's up, everybody's loving it.
It's just crazy.
It's all good.
Yeah.
We'll have Sobeys and Safeway Liquor Beer of the Week as well coming up in a matter of minutes. Still waiting on a bit of a connection there as well. But we will be going Eau Claire Distillery. I do believe I said that right. Handcrafted. Not so much beer this week, as we'll be going into a bit of a hard iced tea, a dill pickle Caesar, a gin and tonic, pink lemonade, and vodka mule. All of these things would be a nice maybe transition for a Canada Day weekend. If you've been plowing through the beers during this cup run, as most of you have been, maybe this will be a nice sachet away from that, and kind of a different flavor on your palate for this Canada Day weekend. But more on that from Eau Claire Distillery. Coming up with the Sobeys and Safeway Beer of the Week. And we'll be still waiting on them. Once again, if you have any thoughts on Jack Campbell specifically heading into this weekend and a buyout or not, 780-218-9999 or in the nasty chat. Happy anniversary, Gager from Raider Jesse. It's my 5th wedding anniversary today. 21 years together total, Raider Jesse. So congrats to you, Raider and Mrs. Raider.
Yeah, it's 21 22 together, 36 with the wind chill. So
legally or illegally or whatever you want to call it, hey, that type of thing. Nasty chat humming along. Ninja Turtle Pizza. Yeah, that's pretty much what we're talking about at Big Mamas and Papas. It's pretty much the same thing. Wheels is loving it. Box Pounder also after the cake. Yeah, we're still talking about throwing cake in Atif's face. Atif, let us know specifically what you're doing. I might want to follow you around Canada Day with a camera just for fun.
It's tough to get cream cheese icing off your spectacles.
I think they're still on there. Hey, like that's kind of what you're alluding to there with Atif. Atif, if you can see us, maybe he's still at Century Casino from last night as well. Matty Iwanik's in too. Hangouts coming up a little later on today. Glue Guy will be back in with a bit of a farm report as well. Tommy the Wrench in today? Yeah. Not too convincing, but he says all the same. So I know he was in the nasty chat as well earlier this morning. So, Guy Flaming as well. Ooh. Yes, for a little draft preview as well. Jay's going to be late. So you, Tommy, and Guy? Until Jay gets here. Perfect. That's a nice hangout. A tight hangout. Sorry, Trev, did you want to... the hangout's taken on a variety of terms as we've kind of worked our way forward. But
yesterday's was great.
You can connect the dots there.
That was fun.
Well, it's a nice little... we had the producer, and the name alluded me. You were in the hangout with him, but doing the Andrew Harris talk. And then Paul Sir, his time as well in discussing the NBA draft and everything. It's always great to have Sir in the room picking his brain.
I've always wanted to ask him what his favorite era of the NBA was, and he went through... Like, he just didn't say it. He went through all the progressions of, I mean, he's a Wilt Chamberlain kind of guy because that's who he grew up with, you know, and I just going through Dr. J. And
it's peach baskets and short shorts with him, and I love it. I love it.
I mean, it sounds like he actually lived Hoosiers, you know, as a kid, you know. So,
yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Still waiting on the beer people.
Still
Hey, they may
no
have
word.
lost us.
Still no word.
I wonder. Hey, maybe they're a little. Maybe they got into the Eau Claire spirits a little early as well.
How could you not?
Gage,
Pink
you wanna
lemonade,
prove this?
vodka mule, gin and tonics, dill pickle Caesar. Now that is intriguing.
Looking forward to
They
that.
said chill them and shake them before. That was the
Okay.
the two instructions we had. You know what I'm
A
going to
lot
do
of
here
people
right now?
say that about me.
On that note, I'm going to play a little ditty here. I'm going to go get the product, and we'll be set for them. So without any further ado, you haven't been asking for it, but I always know you love it.
You know what? I saw it in his eyes. It's fun to watch his eyes. And, you know, he narrowed his eyes. He's been a horse. His eyes narrow. I saw it in his eyes. He loves his eyes. Eyes going in the net. Horse eyes. People were highly critical of his eyes. His eyes narrow. Eyes. Eyes. Eyes.
All right, there you go. Hungry Eyes. You know it. You love it. You want it. We did our quota. That's fine. Maybe even hear it again.
Think he's on the short list for Oilers GM? I mean, he's been doing it with the Mannheim Adler for a little bit here. And
Let's just let that idea hang in the air. Oh yeah. Okay. No, you heard him when he was on the show as a guest here recently. Hey, he knows it. He knows what's going on. He's a very.
Yeah.
I have time for Dallas Aikens now. Post
sure.
coaching.
I know.
Now that that's all gone. Sure. Yeah.
I mean, him as a GM, he'd be having a meeting every 2 weeks.
I don't think this. Are we ready for a Dallas Aikens? Man, oh man. You thought the press room was, taken care of before.
Yeah.
He'll have that puppy.
Everyone will have on those walking treadmills to watch.
Everybody will be on a stationary bike for player avails in the room. You have to be sitting on a bike, specs on a bike. You gotta. Still nothing, eh? Okay, well, you know what? We're going to drink anyways. We weren't dropped off these samples for nothing.
Yeah.
And we'll do our best to give it some credit here. So it is Eau Claire Distillery. If they want to hop in, they can. It's all fine here. Turner Valley, Alberta is the place they're located. EauClaireDistillery.ca. That's EAUCLAIRE Distillery.ca is where you can check them out. And again, as I mentioned, not doing the beer, and it's probably for the best, given the fact that, that Stanley Cup playoff run. I would assume, I don't know how many liters we all consumed of beer, but this is nice. Trev's already into the sampling. We got a vodka mule, to which I don't know if it's in the candy lineup.
I think it is. No,
we're missing one. I think it's the vodka
mule.
Vodka mule's there. So we got the vodka mule, pink lemonade, hard iced tea, and the dill pickle Caesar. We're missing the gin and tonic.
Oh.
You got it. I don't know if it's in the box, but Matty Iwanik's on it.
Just
I love
like
it.
Mac T.
God, I love it. I don't know what Gage. You brew your own beer. You have probably a better tongue and palate. Where do you think we start with this one with Eau Claire Distillery? Do you want to go the dill pickles, hard iced tea? I mean, what do we lemonade?
So let's for palate cleansing. I think we should start with the iced tea.
Okay.
And then go pink lemonade, vodka mule, Save the Caesar for last.
Boom, bam. And you can shake up that Caesar, as we were told we have to do that. But the hard iced tea right now. And I like this. This is summer, baby. I mean, as I said, the spring and the cup run, we had enough beer in our systems.
Yeah.
It's nice to kind of switch it up a bit. There you go.
Jeez.
Do you want to get on these? No, you're just good with the Caesar over there. Trev's got his own
dabble
Caesar.
with those later.
Okay, yeah. You'll take care of those later. So this is the hard iced tea. Totally reformulated. Our hard iced tea is more approachable than ever. It says here, tea forward with crisp citrus, uncarbonated. Love that too. So it just goes down easy. Well, cheers to the hard iced tea. Eau Claire Distillery, our Sobeys and Safeway brewer of the week here.
Here's to Canada Day.
Here's to Canada Day. An iced tea that's not that dead, but that little citrus picks it up a bit. I like that.
I like that hint of citrus.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong with an iced tea.
Nope.
Very, very summery. I mean, if we're, well, I don't know how we rank these things. We rank them by mowing lawn.
Sure, the lawn mowing index. I like that, actually. Yeah.
The lawn mowing index.
Give me a 6er.
Yeah, that's a hard 7 right there.
The non-carbonation, as it says here, makes it easy to sip, but that citrus just picks up that
it
iced
stays
tea
with
flavor
you too.
good. Yeah.
That's that lingers.
Down the line now, we'll get into the pink lemonade. 5% says here as well, more seasonable version of the previous lemonade that they did have. So I assume, there you go, nice color as advertised for a pink lemonade. Yeah, a little more bubbles. Of course, the carbonation live in this. Same great prickly pear taste, a lot like berry with more bite, it says here. So we'll keep those words in our mind as we have a sip.
Cheers.
To the pink lemonade.
Very nice color on it. Oh, that's bubbly. I don't know if it was because we didn't have a carbonated one, but that's tingly.
Well, you've lined it up perfectly because my cheeks are on fire right now. I love it.
Very different pink lemonade than you would expect. Quite subtle, actually. That's going to sneak up on you.
Mowing lawn index.
Oh God, I'd like that. That's if it's got to be at least 26 and above.
Yeah, post mow as well. I'm doing this, and I don't know if I.
That's an 8.5.
I'd be tough to continue mowing if I.
Yeah, 8.5 right there.
That's a poppy one.
That's
pink
good.
lemonade again. Prickly pear taste, a lot like berry with more bite. So that's what we're getting there with the pink lemonade. Down the line we go.
That's good.
The vodka mule. Now I feel like we should have those specific cups, the copper cups or whatever it is for them.
Right,
But, yes, the vodka mule right now. We're going to get into that, and I do like this. I like more of a lime type of flavoring here. Vodka mule.
Ginger.
The ginger, yeah.
Settles the tummy.
5%. Seasonable version of their previous mules, still made with fresh ginger juice, as mentioned here. Same great flavor as before. So this is the vodka mule. A great color to it as well. A little bubbly.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.
Dallas Aikens.
Yeah.
Oh,
they're just also
good.
refreshing and poppy. I want to get outside and run a lap around the building right now.
Wow.
That's the vodka mule. Once again, 5%, more sessionable version of the previous mule, it says here, and the fresh ginger juice. No imitation, no fake. The freshness as well helps whenever you're talking about those added ingredients. So.
I'm a huge fan of the ginger, so for me personally, my index, I'm going to bump that to a 9. That's
a 9?
That's really good.
And it's not so much the lemonade and the iced tea, that's more of your sugary kind of, this has kind of got more of a base. I like that heaviness of the ginger and a little bit of that lime. The main event, give her a good, the Eau Claire Dill Pickle Caesar.
We already heard some moans and groans after over there. With,
good moans, I think.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Trev loves a moan. Hey, he got a good one, but we'll take that as a good index as well. This is the Dill Pickle Caesar. Well, let's leave that for you, Gage, while I read this. It's Alberta's best canned Caesar, and it just got better. Same great taste, now 5%. Made in the birthplace of the Caesar. Once again, this is Eau Claire Distillery. You can check them out, eauclairedistillery.ca out of Turner Valley. This is a no-nonsense Caesar with no MSG. That's underlined in caps locked here. So keep that in mind as we're taking this puppy down. Trev, you've already dove into it. It's got a great body here.
With just a little bit of subtle pepper hints.
It's taking me back to Vegas the way it looks, to be honest.
You can smell the dill. This could be.
And having a glass to which we've had all the other flavors in there, sometimes that mucks it around. This is let's just take it.
That's really good.
Take me home.
Cheers.
Happy Canada Day weekend.
Oh. Wow. Wow.
I just swished it around for a bit.
Oh my gosh, man. That dill. Oh, go to Sobeys.
And smooth.
And
it's smooth.
Yeah, that's great.
A great look to it. Kind of resembles to me more of a Bloody Mary in terms of the body and the style, but holy
you
heck.
were right. That's
that moan. Authentic, Trev.
I'm a big Caesar guy. I need some sort of dill. I need that in a Caesar.
Yeah.
That's like the biggest thing for me, and this has it. This goes down. This is a treat.
That is awesome.
Being a Caesar guy and just kind of getting off, give me your ideal garnish. You're walking in. One Caesar, please. And they lay you down with a bacon, an asparagus,
yeah,
piece of
sometimes
cheese,
they go into it a little too much.
And you don't want that.
Ideally, I like just a pickled bean. I need a lime and celery. That's okay.
Yep.
And maybe
That's
bacon.
The celery to
maybe.
stir.
Yeah.
You can,
But I don't need the protein as much. I just like the veggies with the Caesar.
Yeah.
Keep it simple. I like those.
I'll take a piece of bacon, maybe a shaved meat.
Mm-hmm.
I know Refinery Grill down the road there does a nice a shaved Montreal smoked, and they'll put that on a toothpick. A sausage or a bacon, I don't mind. I don't mind that on the protein, but
there used to be a place that had the bacon straw. So you would
yeah.
So you get a skewer, you wrap the bacon around the skewer or cook it in the oven, and I've done it once with Caesars one time, and it just a little bit more flavor.
Oh, hell yeah.
You don't do it all the time. You can't drink. Well, I did drink a lot of them, but you shouldn't.
You got to cook that almost to perfection. A little too crispy would get you in a bit of trouble.
You got to watch it. 350 for about 15. You know?
Yes, there it is. I love it.
In my oven. That's the way I roll. But.
We had connection issues, I guess, with Eau Claire Distillery this morning. That's what happens sometimes. Nobody's fault. That's okay. We appreciate, though, their time and gifting us this wonderful product here. And once again, you can check it out, Eau Claire Distillery, if you are looking for some Canada Day bevies. And as I mentioned, perfect time for them to come on the show because so much beer has been consumed during this cup run. You're probably like, the beer, the pints, and all this stuff. This will get you where you need to go this long weekend. So Eau Claire Distillery, and once again, you can find it Sobeys and Safeway Liquor. Walk in there, tell them Edmonton Sports Talk sent you, and ask for the Eau Claire Distillery. They got these packs here. It's all in a pack. It's a mixed pack. You've got the hard iced tea. You've got the dill pickle Caesar, the gin and tonic, the pink lemonade, and the vodka mule. Lots of different flavors and lots of different avenues to tantalize that palate. I love it. It's not just this is the flavor, this is what you're drinking, there's 12 of them, go. It's a bit of a mix.
I mean, you can't get anything better for a Canada Day weekend, a country of diversity, and these are definitely, we didn't try the gin, but I'm sure 5 distinct different drinks to go along with our great country.
Your mowing index up in the 9s. I'm sure the gin would be right there with them.
Yeah. I would give the Caesar this. I haven't had a really good Caesar like this in a while. It's 9. Give me an 9. I didn't rate it, but that's fantastic.
Rob, chime us in. Paris Jewelers inbox. Take a drive to their distillery. It's very cool. Went there 2 years ago.
Oh.
Maybe that's I've always wanted to do. The wife and I will stop in if we're driving somewhere for a trip and you see one. But I really like to go on one of those distillery kind of brewery tours province wide and make a bit of a map out of it. And
see, my brother-in-law, his daughters were at dance in Regina, and there's something called the Golden Mile or something. There's all these breweries in there.
Okay.
And
is Bushwhackers one of them?
Yes.
Yeah. That's a great brewery.
But if it was a special thing and you got a special plate or something to complete it was 12 distilleries that you all went to, and you had to have a pint at each one. And at the last one you went to, you received a special award.
See, that's what makes it all even Happy Beer Street here in Edmonton, to which you were here with Shitties yesterday or whatever. But if you had a commemorative pint glass I drank them all, and you got that little. I don't know if you saw the glasses they're giving out the Euro tournament this year in Germany. But you go, you buy a beer or whatever, and they give you the plastic glass, whatever. But on the glass, and it's like the McDonald's collector cups. I mean, you got all the stadiums in Germany, like Cologne and Frankfurt,
right.
and it's just done in a nice minimalist way. And It's a great collector. I mean, people like to collect them when you're going out having a few drinks. It's neat to kind of...
What would be cooler than, a Saturday afternoon, you hit the golden mile of Edmonton to hit all the distilleries, and you get your commemorative cup. You're at the end of it.
You've accomplished something. You come home drunk, and the significant other is like, I got this cup.
They all have great food usually at these things. Little signature items. The flatty that I had yesterday is just fantastic at Shitty's.
Eau Claire Distillery, check them out today. Once again, Sobeys and Safeway Liquor. They got the mixed box. Turner Valley, Alberta is where they're located, so if you are in the neighborhood, maybe check them out. Make a drive out this Canada Day long weekend. Vodka mules, pink lemonades, gin and tonic, dill pickle Caesar, and hard iced tea, all from Eau Claire Distillery, and you can pick up your mixed pack today at Sobeys and Safeway Liquor. We're getting into the wrap right now. Tommy the Wrench is in, which means the hangout will be starting soon. The wrap brought to you by William Huff. If you want your place to look as good as ours, visit the team, WilliamHuff.com. Been in business since 72. You know they're good at what they do. WilliamHuff.com. Gentlemen, what, if anything, did we learn on the show today, aside from you being Mike Johnson's AGM as a future gig?
That is what I learned. I learned that people are upset about Jack Campbell not being bought out, I guess.
Are you worried at this stage of the game here? Is that concerning you at all, or is there still, as we mentioned, maybe just listening, hey?
Again, I think if it has to be the right thing, because he does fit a need. I know that's not what Oiler fans want to hear, but looking back, the tandem of Pickard and Stuart Skinner is quite formidable in the NHL. So goaltending wise, the Oilers are finally in the best position, I think, since probably I played. And my partner was Curtis Joseph, and they didn't have to worry about me.
We also learned from Tim Hauraney everything you can expect from the Austrian Grand Prix this weekend. Of course, the sprint race is coming up. Gage and I will be watching alongside YouTube Trev here in the EST studios. But hangout coming up next as well. I'm going to give the text of the day as well here to Rob, as he just texted in, as he's been to the Eau Claire Distillery. Very cool, and suggesting other people go there too. And he also said earlier today, love the handlebar YTT. We haven't really touched on that. You shaved the beard. It was pissing you off. You're now on the handlebar mustache. Put the cam on you while we transition out of this show here. Take a look at old Trev.
That is formidable.
Not bad, eh?
Yeah. What are you charging over the weekend for a ride on that puppy?
Right? Well, it's funny. Like, I was going through everything yesterday. I'm like, I got to get rid of this greasy, whatever I had, beard or whatever. Yeah. It's very annoying. And so, but I wanted to have fun with it. So then I gave myself the goatee. And I was just like, oh gosh, this is so not it. And then as I finish off the bottom here, and then I'm like, hey, you know what? This is kind of funny. I don't like it, but it's kind of cool. I didn't know. So
it's good to laugh at yourself.
Yeah. So I don't take it seriously. My buddy, we went out for. I was just gonna shave it off immediately because we went out for pizza last night. My buddy's like, no, you got to keep this, man. And I'm like, well, I want to because I want to show the guys, but I don't want to go out in public with this thing on my face. But yeah, so it was kind of funny. But this is what to expect for next Movember. This is it. I now I know I can grow this. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I got a couple like there was a couple, not older people, but 40, 50, and they were looking at me. They're like, they gave me the head nod. They're like, that's nice, and I'm like, thank you. I appreciate that. So it's pretty sick.
Summertime in the living's easy for Trev. I
throw my leather jacket on Trev right now. That's money.
Right? Yeah. I look like a
Cobble
biker.
together a gang by the end of the long weekend, I think. People would call it him.
El Presidente over there.
Easy E says, Jack not getting bought out means he's getting traded. Why would anyone not be happy about that? Happy Canada Day. He follows it up. And I guess we'll leave it there. I mean, keep it locked here at EST, as mentioned. Might have a little free agency frenzy splash coming holiday Monday. So we'll have more on that. But keep it locked. YouTube channel right now. If you haven't already, hit the sub. Hit the like as well. Give us a thumbs up. We will transition. Keep it locked on the YouTube. Auto-tune will take you right over there, or auto-play, or whatever. Auto-tune. Auto-play will take you right over to the hangout. Tom Gazzola, Matt Iwanek. They will be joined, Glue Guy Jay Milne coming in, as well as Guy Flaming to preview tonight's NHL draft. For Joaquin Gage, which, again, I appreciate your time coming in, filling in for Dustin Nielson today. YouTube Trev as well, doing the Lord's work behind the monitors, keeping everything going here as it is. I'm Lieutenant Eric. Have a great Canada Day weekend. We'll chat perhaps Monday, probably Tuesday, but keep it locked to EST throughout the weekend. Lots of great stuff going on here in town, sports-wise and other. Hangouts coming up next. Enjoy.